Hot takes are everywhere, but they're often uninformed, and major news is biased. We've had enough of hot takes. We want informed takes. Join Kevin Briggins and Devin Smith as they have rational conversations about domestic politics, geopolitics, and military affairs. Things will get interesting as they bring in expert guests, even from across the aisle. Grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and hop into the chat. It's time for Informed Takes.
Yo, welcome back to Informed Takes. I am Kevin Briggins. He is Devin Smith, and we are glad that you all are back with us again. Man, how you been?
Whew, man, we working hard, but it's a good sign because there's lots of activity. I tell you what, man, I've been just sitting back and watching the Facebook feed, and it just feels like we just got nonstop craziness going on.
Absolutely. As to this being my fourth live in 5 days.
Whew, man.
Right? And so for y'all out there who've been seeing me popping up, I know you're tired of seeing me this week, but
can't stop, won't stop.
We can't miss another Informed Take. So y'all gotta see me one more time this week.
That's right, baby. That's right. Man, how you doing?
I can say, man, I'm good. The Lord has been good. I'm just, like I said, I'm weary. You know, it's been a busy week in terms of, you know, live streaming, a lot of stuff going on, and just on doing some different stuff that I normally don't do in terms of collaborating with people and speaking on just some things that's been going on in the culture in the world. And so my calendar was full, starting with Sunday night. You know, you and me going off code together. You know,
yeah, man, that was good, man. That was good. Thanks for having me.
It was good feedback, good discussion. You know, just to have two guys on there, and talk about some manly stuff.
Yeah. That's just as I've said many times, near and dear to my heart. I think it's what people need right now. And I just, man, honestly, like get disappointed when more men who have the right ideas don't speak out on this stuff, because what happens is that void gets filled by voices that, we would rather not, because they're willing to jump in the fray. And so, it's just, I'm constantly seeing that, and I'm just like, you know what, man, it's our fault. If we don't speak up and say some of this stuff, say some of the stuff needs to be said, and the wrong people wind up having the mic, it's because people got tired of people being soft, to be frank.
Yeah. And I think that applies to a lot of different situations. If you don't speak up and put the right voices out there and the right emphasis on things, you're allowing someone else to fill that void. And and who people listen to and who's out there giving advice and stuff, it matters. Yeah. And so I encourage those with the right mindset to speak up and make your voice be heard. So with that being said, we have a busy show.
Yes, we do.
We kept the topics light, like, so there's no what the X tonight. But we just got a lot to get into on the two topics that we do have. Right.
We do have what the text.
But man, it has been a crazy, I mean, I want to say 2 weeks, but it's been longer than that. It's been a lot of, and if you saw the thumbnail, we're talking about left-wing violence tonight. And we're going to talk about the government shutdown as well. But with the left-wing violence, it's just been so much going on recently that, I was like, we got to talk about this, especially after, was it Jay Jackson, the attorney, the guy running for Jay Jones?
Yeah.
The guy running for attorney general in Virginia, his text came out, and wet the text. And we're going to dive into that because it is eye-opening, and it's just going to really shine some light into the mindset that we're dealing with. So,
yeah. I could not believe all the stories that came out that were saying, oh, you know what? Actually, it's more right-wing violence that's prevalent as opposed to left-wing violence. And I was like, dude, anybody with two eyeballs can see that's not true. Like that is crazy talk. 1,000% cap. Like, I mean, 100% pure cold press cap.
Yeah. Yes. As the kids would say.
Yeah. So we gonna jump into that. So let's start off with a little Jay Jones, hey?
Yeah.
This cat.
Yeah. So Jay Jones is running for attorney general in the state of Virginia. I think he's already a member of like their, state legislature. I believe he is. And so he's running for the attorney general seat. He's a Democrat, as you're probably going to guess. And these texts came out from a 2022 conversation he was having. He was actually texting a Republican and had the nerve to make these statements. So if you could probably see it better than I can. Can you see it?
I can read it off.
Just run down through it.
Yeah, this is wild. So he one of the text threads, the first one here is saying, the Republican is saying you weren't simply asking questions and you know it. Jay says, I genuinely was. I wasn't attacking you. I was trying to understand your logic. And the Republican responds back, you weren't trying to understand. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. And Jay responds,
Hold up. Go start on, I think the other side is
the first.
I think it's reverse order. Yeah.
Okay, all good. Yeah, so the Republican says they say nice things about everyone, LOL. And then Jay starts in, if those guys die before me, I will go to their funerals to piss on their graves, send them out awash in something. And the Republicans like, Jay Jones. Jay says, 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. The other person says, Jay, please stop. He says, LOL, okay. And the Republican says, really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death on them. So then it goes into, the stuff that I was reading about wishing that Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. And he says, yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. And then the last thread, the Republican is saying, there isn't. I point blank asked you more than 3 times, and you dug in that you meant it. I honestly am questioning a lot today. And Jay says, I mean, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? Yes. So this is not some fringe person. This is the Democrat nominee for AG in Virginia. This is not some fringe blue hair person with a septum ring out in Portland, Oregon. This is a major Democratic candidate who's getting national attention. And what did the Democrats in Virginia do, Kev? What did they do?
They said, no big deal. We all fall. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We support him. We
need to line up behind. They said we need to line up behind him. And I'm thinking to myself, if a Republican did this, there would not be a single mainstream media outlet that was not talking about it. The idea that a Republican could say something like this and not get burned at the stake is nuts. It wouldn't happen. But right now they're lining up behind Jay like it's just like, hey, we just got to soldier on. And we're all over here thinking, do y'all know how to take anything but L's right now? Because you guys lining up behind this guy, you are making sure that you just dig that hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And I know that November 2026 is a while away, but if it continues like this, I mean, you talk about a bloodbath. I mean, goodness.
Yeah. Because this is, man. I mean, this is the leftist ideology. This is the leftist mindset talking. This idea that someone needs to feel personal pain and loss so they'll move on their policy. As if it's one of those, and it comes from this narcissistic idea that they think that they're empathy and that they have more empathy and that those who oppose their ideas just lack empathy. It's like, no, you just lack brains, right? You lack intelligence. And trying to move someone on emotions doesn't make that a good decision. Doesn't make that good policy, right? But the Democrats always want to use emotional manipulation to move policy instead of basing it on the validity of their ideas, which they can't. And so to wish someone's family would be killed so that they would feel personal loss and side with you on policy, that's just narcissistic and asinine, right? But that's the mindset. This wasn't like some, flippant thing. Like, he literally meant that. He said, I've told you this before.
Yeah.
This ain't the first time he said this. So this is a core belief. This is a core belief. This isn't a flippant statement he's just making. He's like, no, I've told you this before. This is what I believe, and then, like I said, talking about someone gets, and they said that could be a joke. Because I think that's from a TV show or something about the 3 people, 2 bullets, blah, blah, blah. But then to say is that that someone's wife and kids would get killed, that's just, I mean, that's just the leftist mindset. I'm just going to be honest. It is. They believe their cause and their policies are so righteous and so just, and it's such a moral good that anyone who is against it, they, like you said, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil? Do I think they're breeding little fascists? Yes.
Man. That term is getting thrown around like Halloween candy right now.
Someone you serve with in the state legislature, someone you know, and he's met this man's wife and children.
Yeah.
Right? And he is calling them evil and little fascists. When let's be honest, there's no fascists in the legislature. Let's just be honest. Right? Fascist means you don't agree with left-wing progressive policies. That's all that means.
At this point, unfortunately, when they say that, that's what it means. That's not what the word really means, but they don't care about what it really means anymore. When they call you a fascist, they're literally, I mean, we've talked about this before. They're just running the old cultural revolutionary playbook, and they are calling you as essentially what they've been told to call you since the commie movements. All the way back in the 30s, 40s, 50s. They're going back that far, and they're using the same playbook. And it just blows my mind that we watch the same things over and over and over. And I'm like, dude, do you not realize what is – you must be a true believer. You really must be a true believer.
And that's what we found out with Charlie Kirk's death. This isn't just strategy. This is belief.
Yeah.
Right? They believe this. They believe that those who on the other side of the aisle are genuinely evil. If you don't pass the gun legislation they want, you're evil. If you don't support whatever, socialist policy they have, then you're evil, and then they call you a fascist as if they're not the ones wanting to leverage more government control. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Projection, like expert,
it is
level projection.
The Republicans are fascists, but it was Biden who was forcing social media companies and threatening social media companies to silence people who disagreed with him, with the administration. But that's not fascist. It just, it's so dishonest. And it shows how much, not only that they will do, for power, but it is really a religion to them. It really is.
Yes.
And they believe all that they do is for the moral good. And it justifies their actions, whether it's lying, whether it's violence, whether it's calling someone's little children evil and fascist.
Yeah.
They believe it's morally justified because of the moral superiority they feel, trying to create the utopia that they want. Yeah. And like I say, man, this is leftism. I just want people to know this is what it is.
And I, to be honest with you, man, it's crazy because as I look at these text messages, and I said this last time we were on. Me and my conservative buddies, like we don't say things like this to each other about Democrats. Like we don't say this kind of stuff. I mean, we talk junk, but we don't say this kind of stuff. If anybody was in one of these groups and they were saying that kind of stuff, it'd be like three dudes who jumped on them like, yo, that ain't what we do around here. Yeah.
And it's like, I think, then we played a video of Destiny. Yeah, we played the video of Destiny last week talking about how conservatives need to feel afraid that they'll get shot at these events to force change. Like,
while he's got AKs on the wall behind him, by the way, it's like, I ain't mad at him having guns. I'm just saying, if you talk about being a terrorist while you got guns, like, hey, watch your mouth, Yeah.
And this is just the leftist mindset. And like I said, this wasn't even, this was 2022. So This wasn't even when Trump was in office. This
Right.
is during Biden's term. They've gone to a whole nother level since Trump has won the election.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what, we're going to get into tonight is what the left does when it feels desperate.
Yeah.
And they're real desperate right now.
Yeah. I think you've had some really great points on that. You nailed that. And I'm looking forward to us talking about that later in the show. But that when you said it, I was just like, yeah, that's really what it is. I mean, and it's predictable. It's predictable.
It is. Yeah. And so when they're desperate, that's when things get really ugly and violent. And that's what we're seeing across the country right now.
Yeah.
And the thing, like I said, they believe it. They're genuine believers. I'm a religious man. I know religion when I see it.
Thank you. Yes, we are religious. We're religious people, right? We recognize when people have orthodoxy. We recognize when people have sacraments. Okay, I mean, at this point, and they're trying to distance themselves from it now. But I mean, changing your gender identity almost became a sacrament, basically. It's just, or changing your child's gender identity became a sacrament.
Because leftism is all about destroying destroying Western and cultural norms.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was disrupting whiteness, as they would call it, And so, yeah, they were pushing that like crazy because it's disrupting a norm. I saw a video, and I posted it this week. It was from Dad Saves America's podcast, and he was breaking down left-wing ideology. And he was talking about, he showed a video from the Democratic Socialists of America, and which is where Mav Dunny is from. And in that video, I mean, when you let these people talk, they tell you what they really believe. And they were talking about family abolition. Like, that's the thing. Like, we want to abolish slavery. Yeah, they want to abolish the family. And they said we know family abolition is possible because we've seen Black women do it. Right? And that was like, they were clapping and cheering. Like, I don't think people understand how messed up leftism is.
Right.
Like they view family and marriage as oppression. So the single mother epidemic in the Black community is liberation to them. This episode isn't about this, but I'm just going to make the statement. What has happened to the Black community is not accidental. It was intentional. The Black community has been a left-wing social experiment. And what it has produced is what they are proud of, right? The abandonment of the family, single motherhood, supported by government, because the whole point is to have everyone to be supported by the collective, right? It's the socialist utopia. And so you have to break down the family to then have everyone just be a general collective supported by the collective. So they want all of these social programs, right? They want the welfare, they want the healthcare, they want all of these different things. So you're not dependent on any type of family structure. You're only dependent upon the collective, which is the state, right? And so that's what's happening. That is the state of the Black community, and it was intentionally done to the Black community. And yeah, the Black community is complicit because we bought it, and then we sold it. It's like drug dealers, right? You selling it to your own people. That's what very influential Black people did. They bought this stuff, they got high on it themselves, and they sold it to everyone else.
Yes.
And now the Black community is largely Marxist without even knowing it.
Right.
Because we call it Blackness.
That man. That is one of the things that, just as my eyes were open to that, I was deeply disappointed because I realized how true it is. You said something, and you've said it many times, and you said in a lot of ways to be black, right, in the sense that an Ayanna Pressley would mean it. To be black is to be Marxist. And most black people don't even realize it. They don't know that.
They don't know. They have no idea what Marxism is. They just no, they don't know. But the whole point of this is that is what they want for the country, right? And when you're in the way of that, they hate you. Yeah. They call you evil. They call you fascist. They call you a bigot. Because the whole point is to disrupt all Western norms.
Yes.
Right. And so, and to increase the state. So we can talk about that when we get to the whole government shutdown thing. Right. The whole point is to increase the state. The whole point is to have as many people as possible dependent upon the state, upon the collective.
Mm-hmm. And that, that's it's one of the things that we see with the left-wing violence thing, because anything that reduces that, what they view as progress in that area, is seen as an attack on democracy. It's an attack on it's an attack on freedom. They don't even use it. You know what's crazy, dude? You know what's crazy?
What?
Notice that they don't use the word freedom anymore. They don't use that word. They say attack on rights. They say attack on civil rights. They do not use the phrasing an attack on freedom. That's one of the things that I've noticed more and more and more lately, is that word is not important to them. It is not important to them. As a matter of fact, I actually think that not only is it not important, they don't like the word. I don't think they like it. And you'll notice it's generally folks who are more conservative or libertarian who use the word freedom. And there's an understanding that freedom generally means less government. Freedom means that you have less things regulating your life, and they know that, and so they don't use that language.
Did we talk about the Joy Reid quote? I don't think we did.
Oh no, we didn't. Oh man. If I can
what
find
you just
that,
said made me think of it.
I'm gonna go try to find it. Oh man, yes, we need to find that. We need to find that.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we're gonna pull up, but the fact that she made that statement as if it was something bad, and everyone keeps posting like, is she trying to like make me a Republican?
Right. Yeah, it's like, don't threaten me with a good time. I mean, you over here talking about, oh man, what they want is this and that, and everybody's like, that doesn't sound bad. Actually sounds like exactly what we want. Wait a minute now. And one of the things that I've noticed has been, we talk about the vibe shift, right? We talk about the vibe shift. We talk about how ever since last year, there's been just when Kamala ran and all that stuff, there's been a shift in the understanding of what is good for the country, and a lot of people seem to be shifting back towards more conservative values. And you saw places that normally are vote very Democratic go more for Republicans than they had in many, many years. And so this vibe shift is happening. But one of the things that's been really encouraging to me is I've seen this vibe shift with black people too. And I'm seeing more black people going online and sharing their opinions about this stuff, and having opinions that, I mean, honestly, like 5-10 years ago, black people weren't online saying that stuff out loud like that. That was not a thing. And you're seeing it more and more. And a dude played this clip that I'm about to show. He played this clip and he lost it. He was like, "What the F? Why is that bad? Why is what she's saying bad?" And I'm like, dude, the vibe shift is real. The vibe shift is real. But I got it. I found it. I got it right here.
All right.
Let me see if we can't show this junk.
Go back before, and one of the reasons they're so serious about it is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change. They need people to be less modern. They need people to want fewer things. They need people to be satisfied just being workers. And they don't really believe that any of us have natural rights.
Yeah.
What?
Now, listen to the foolishness.
What?
Listen to the foolishness. What does that have to do with your right? You don't have a right to someone else's stuff.
That is wild. It is wild. This whole idea.
You do not have a right to other people's stuff.
She's saying that we want to go back to passing things down without income tax. We want no regulation on inheritance and wait a minute. Okay,
they want to be you make as much money as you want and pass down 100% to your children. That's the world they want.
Yo, I mean. Yeah, yeah, it is. I would love for America to go back to the days when there was no income tax. I'm sure that the founding fathers would be rolling in their graves if they knew that we had income tax at all.
So this is what she said. She means modern. She means socialist.
Thank you.
Right.
That's right.
She's saying that yes, we need people to be less dependent upon the government.
Yeah.
You know, less dependent upon the government. And that is not what they want. They want people dependent upon the government.
That's right.
That's what they want. Like, it's just so obvious. And people need to see that. These people don't have your best interest in mind. No, they just believe in socialism. So they would rather you be poor and dependent upon them than be rich and independent.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
They frown upon people becoming successful. They would frown if black people started getting married at 70% and had 2-parent households and wasn't on government assistance, and like they would be upset.
Dude,
they would legit be upset at that, you know.
So real quick, one of the things that I noticed about what she said was that she thinks that we don't have natural rights, or they think we don't have natural rights. That is a really important thing that she said, because to her, and this is that she's saying, she's giving a window into how the left, the progressive thinks. They think that your rights are provided by the government and that they are funded by the government. And so when they talk about, I mean, who remembers, you know, who out there remembers back when they were saying, when there were a bunch of progressives saying that women should have menstrual products provided to them every month by the government, that access to menstrual products should be a right, and to them that means that the government should pay for it. Healthcare, to them, when they say that's a right, that means that the government is supposed to pay for it.
Yes, because you're right. They believe your rights come from government. I mean, the the Democrat senator said that recently.
Yeah.
Because when he was talking about your rights coming from God, who was it?
It was Kaine. It was Tim Kaine. It was Hillary's old running mate.
Tim Kaine. Yeah, and he said that the idea that our rights came from God sounded like Iran.
Man, look.
And it's like
we need to get that dude a civics class. We need to get that dude a civics class because the fact that he said that, not only did he say that, okay? Not only did he say that, this dude is a senator. He's a senator. Yeah. And he said that. So he doesn't understand. Yeah. He doesn't understand
the Constitution.
The Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the
Declaration
entire
of Independence
philosophy behind our system of rights, but the whole philosophy behind the Bill of Rights in America is that your rights are God-given and the government cannot supersede those rights. That's the idea. That's where that comes from. The fact that Tim Kaine thinks that that's abominable says Tim Kaine and anybody who thinks like him doesn't actually like America, because that's how you got here, my guy. That's how you get America. And so I don't understand. I don't understand how we can move forward if people really believe that our rights don't come from God. If they're rejecting the ideas of the founders. If they're rejecting the ideas of the founders, how do we move forward as a country when we literally have an entirely different vision, an entirely different understanding of reality, such that we don't even agree. We don't agree where rights come from. We don't agree what rights mean, because it's not just a thing to think like, okay, healthcare is a right. They believe access to healthcare is a right, which means somebody's got to fund it. There's all kinds of problems with that I won't dive super deep on right now. But if we have people sitting in Congress, if we have people sitting in Congress who think that what the founders believed is abominable, how do we have a country anymore? How can we live together? We don't agree on what our country is anymore.
And that's why we really can't. I'm just going to be honest. That's why we are so divided, because these people don't get it. Like you said, I think you figured it out. When they say rights, they mean something that is provided to by the government.
Yeah. Yeah, and I I don't understand. I don't understand how we're supposed to legislate alongside. Is there ever going to be anything bipartisan ever again? You know what I'm saying? Like,
not the way they're going, man. They're losing it. They're genuinely losing it. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight with the violence. These people are losing their minds. And like I said, the fact that even after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, they still couldn't find it within themselves to tone it down.
Right.
That tells you how desperate they are.
Right.
Yeah. These people have lost it.
Yeah. And we're about to show some video of the fact that they have lost it. You know, speaking of that, all the stuff in Portland. All the stuff in Portland, let's take a look.
At least 6 protesters were arrested outside an ICE facility in Portland Tuesday night, according to immigration officials. CNN affiliate KATU witnessed 4 people be carried inside Tuesday night. One demonstrator was thrown to the ground after getting into a confrontation outside the facility. It's unclear if the person or the agent made the initial contact. The protests came amidst President Trump ordering the Oregon National Guard to protect buildings for a period of 60 days. CNN reached out to Department of Homeland Security for additional information.
That reporting.
Yeah.
Was unclear.
We don't know who made contact. The ICE agents didn't go to their house. They're at the ICE facility.
Right. Like you showed up acting crazy. And this whole idea of all they're talking about, notice in that reporting, this is a great example of what is happening right here. You know, we talked about how, the reporting says, right-wing violence is really the bigger problem, right? Merrick Garland saying that mess when he was still Attorney General, just absolutely crazy. Never once did that reporter say that the protesters did anything. Not once. Unless I missed it. All they did was talk about ICE throwing people to the ground and stuff. Didn't talk about what the protesters did.
No actions.
We're unsure.
No. Yeah, we saw 4 people get carried in. They just got carried in.
Yeah.
But we didn't see anything else. We didn't see any wrongdoing in which they did. We didn't see anyone yell, spit, throw anything. Like we didn't witness anything. We just saw some people get carried in, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it just ICE just went and grabbed him from the house and carried him in the facility.
But I mean, it's just the childishness. Like, look how they're acting. These people are not well.
Yeah.
They aren't well, right? And they're getting desperate. That is the thing. And I talked about it in the post I made about they were fine as long as they felt they were winning the culture war.
Yeah.
As long as things were gradually changing over time and moving in their direction, they were happy. They were happy not to go to violence, I should say. 2016 changed that for them.
Yes.
Trump getting elected changed that for them. They freaked out. And these people, we joke around and call it Trump derangement syndrome, but it is a real deal. It is a real thing. And these people have literally lost their mind over the fact that Donald Trump is president. You know? Right. Yeah. And like I said, it defies logic. Even people I know who used to be right-wing, conservative, evangelical Christians who lost their minds when he got elected in 2016. I don't get it. I don't get it. Put it like this. If Bernie Sanders is a Democratic socialist, if Bernie Sanders got elected president, I'm not going to lose my mind.
I'm not going to be happy.
I'm not going to like deconstruct. I'm not going to deconstruct my entire faith as some Christians did.
Yeah. Because
Bernie Sanders got elected president. Like, it just makes no sense how these people lose their minds over this man. And these people in Portland, like I said, since Trump has been reelected, they're losing their mind. All this stuff about fascism, they genuinely believe this nonsense. They genuinely believe the whole threat to democracy. And I'm blaming the Dems. I'm going to blame the Dems for their rhetoric.
Yeah, absolutely.
Threat to democracy. When they asked Kamala, do you believe Donald Trump is a fascist? She said, yes, I do. Like, these people have fed this stuff to these crazy people. And then when the crazy people act out on it, they were like, we should all just come together. Like, no, we're not going to just come together because you keep saying the crazy stuff, right? They're still calling Donald Trump a fascist. They're still calling Stephen Miller a fascist. They're still, they're still doing it, and they won't stop. Even after someone got killed, they won't stop because that's all they have, and they're desperate.
Yeah.
And they just keep. I mean, their whole existence is just about defying Donald Trump, because we're going to talk about Chicago, right?
Yeah.
And when you're so, I mean, you got people being murdered in your city like crazy, and you want to defy the president from sending in National Guard and federal agents into your city to stop the violence. Just because.
Yeah.
Just because you want to defy the president. That's all this is about. That's all this is about. Because I've seen the videos out of Memphis. Memphis people are like, thank you. The people in DC was like, thank you. It's quiet. There's no gunshots. Thank you.
Right.
But yet places like Chicago are just like, we're opposing the fascism of the no, you are opposing your people in your city being helped out because you want to score political points because you hate the person that's in office. That's all this is.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, Donald Trump isn't taking over the country with the National Guard.
No.
That's not what's happening. Because this is what people don't understand. Largely what the National Guard is doing, number one, is a show of force, but they're doing jobs that frees up law enforcement to then go do law enforcement stuff, right? Let's say you're going to have it's football season, right? So instead of 300 police officers having to be down at the stadium to do security and traffic and all this type of stuff, right? You have the National Guard do that, and now your 300 police officers can go do police stuff, right? That's what they're doing. The National Guard is filling in and taking over things that they can do so that the police can go out and do police stuff, right? And by police being able to focus on doing actual police stuff, they're kicking in doors and, arresting people, stopping people, checkpoints, right? Going after people with warrants. They're doing the things they need to do to get these people off the streets. The National Guard ain't kicking nobody's door in. The National Guard ain't pointing guns at people. And no, they are there as a show of force and to help, alleviate the duties of law enforcement in certain roles. That's it, And when they don't have anything to do, they're picking up trash. They are not. Trump is not taking over your city. This isn't a fascist takeover.
Yeah, I heard it was straight fascism. I heard that they were walking down the streets with the salute. I heard it was swastikas everywhere. That's what I heard.
Oh, and there's been some good commentary out too. For people that really don't know, and I mean, I've known this, fascism, they weren't right wing. They were just as left wing as the Marxists, as Lenin and Stalin. They were all on. They were socialist.
Yeah,
they were national socialist. Right. But the difference between fascism and Marxism is the scale. Right.
Exactly.
So, Mussolini and Hitler, they were nationalists. They cared about Germany. They cared about Italy. Right. The reason that bothered the Marxists because the Marxists are globalist. You shouldn't just care about your nation. Right. It's everyone together. The authoritarian utopian is everywhere, not just your state, not just nationalism. And so they don't have an issue with authoritarianism. The left does not have an issue with authoritarianism. They have an issue with nationalism. That's what they hate, right? And so that's from authoritarian standpoint, there's no difference between the fascists and the communists. There just isn't, right? If you look at China, you look at Soviet Union, you look at Cuba, you look at Venezuela, you look at Cambodia, you look at all these places where communism was put in, it was very authoritarian, and the left loves it. It's no different than what they would say Hitler and all this stuff is. The difference is they hate nationalism, right? They hate the fact that we're a nation. We have borders. And no, they want to be a globalist authoritarian utopia with open borders, right? And so once you realize the only difference is whether it's nationalism or whether it's globalism, that's the only difference, right? And so these people are out in the streets acting a darn fool just because they hate the idea of nationalism.
I mean,
because if it was left wing.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
I'm saying because if it was left wing, and they were talking about, we are one people and we're gonna open the borders and we're gonna do all of this and we're gonna have universal health care, they would love it. They would love it. We're gonna crack down on quote unquote hate speech. If they just did all of that stuff, all of the authoritarian stuff, they'd be happy. They're not about freedom. They don't care. They're not against authoritarianism. They're just against nationalism. And so when Trump says "Make America Great Again," that just makes them just make them hiss. Like they just hate it. Like it's like garlic to a vampire, For real, they hate the nation.
I mean, that I will say.
But go ahead, man. What your
thoughts? The idea. I mean, so here's what I'll say. I personally don't like nationalism either, but I'm using the classical definition of nationalism, because the classical definition of nationalism that Adolf or a Mussolini would use, and the classical political definition of it is that you are for your nation, whether good or ill, above all else. You put you believe that your nation should dominate basically everything.
Yeah.
And what really, I think that now a lot of people are exchanging the term nationalism for what we really mean is patriotism. And the leftists hate both ideas. They hate the idea of nation, and the idea that you are going to have a nation that has sovereignty, and they hate the idea of you being patriotic about your nation. I will say right now in America, they only mad at you if you're patriotic about America. They're not mad at you if you're patriotic about some other country. They're not mad at you about that. But Europeans, okay? Europeans will say that American patriotism it tends to be sort of a unique thing, because over in Europe, you don't see people flying their country's flag from their yard the way that we will here in America. I got a American flag on my mailbox, okay? A big old American flag. And you know why,
right?
Because it's leftist. Most of them are leftist.
Well, that it is also because of World War II and what they feel nationalism caused, right?
Yes.
And so nationalism is viewed as very bad because they are afraid to repeat World War II again. And so the idea of pride in nation has just really been stamped down. The problem with that is when you have no pride in nation and you have no pride in your history, it affects your governmental policies, and you do things like let millions of third world Arabs and Muslims into your country who don't share your culture and your values, and then anyone who has an issue with that, you chastise.
Yes.
right? Because you don't believe in upholding any type of national pride, history, or culture, right? You end up hating your own culture essentially.
Yes.
And it is leftism, but it started because they feared it was like the whole never again thing, right? And so they basically said nationalism, pride, patriotism is bad, right? And so yeah, that's how they got here. But in America, we never said that. We came out of World War II going, man, we waving flags everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Like, we were proud, of what happened in World War II, right? And
Absolutely.
so it set us on a trajectory of patriotism. It set them on a trajectory of shame, And
Right.
so yeah, and so that's how they got here.
What a great
and
explanation.
and that's why they're so afraid. That's why they're so afraid. And so now that these quote unquote right wing groups are popping up over Europe and saying, no, we are British, we are German, right? The left, and I say the left, but just like in Canada, all of these countries, the default position is left in Europe, right?
Right. Correct.
And so they see that and they get afraid. They get afraid, right? And it's just people saying, no, we are British. We have a proud history. We have a culture, and it means something, right? And they're going, fascist, right wing, far right, and they're trying to shut down these quote unquote far right groups. And they're just groups that are just saying, we're proud to be British. And British has a culture. And the fact that my neighborhood has been turned into an Islamic center, I don't like it. Right. And yeah, and that's frowned upon.
That's so well said, man. That's so well said. And I hadn't really considered it from that standpoint, that the way that they look at that is that it is the beginning. They look at it as being a danger and a possibility of leading to another Hitler, or and this idea,
just conflict between themselves,
right?
Just conflict between themselves. So if there's no Italian pride, German pride, French pride, and they won't go to war with each other, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing to fight over. There's no, there's no strong man. They fear the strong man,
Yeah.
And so, and Trump is a strong man, and that's why you see the leftists in America freak out, because Trump is a strong man, right? And they see that and they go, Hitler, right? Because they're very small brained, right? And they can only see things in this very narrow lens, right? There could be nothing else similar to the two people, except one is a strong leader, is a strong man. And they go, Hitler. Like, I think you have to hate Jews and, believe in exterminating people and going over and conquering your neighbors. That's kind of a part of it, which the president has shown no willingness to do any of that. So what are you afraid of? Right. It's just complete insanity.
Right. The concept of the strong man, historically the strong man is the demagogue leader who thinks they're law unto themselves, and we should rightly guard against that. But the idea that just because somebody takes strong positions doesn't mean they are a historical strongman, and they can't make that distinction. That's one of the things that I've said for years. As I learned more about political philosophy, is that, or really just philosophy in general, and apologetics, is that a lot of people don't know how to make distinctions. They don't know how to make categorical distinctions. So Trump is not a fascist. He has the desire to do things whether or not he has congressional approval or not. Guess what? That's not new. Obama did that. He just wasn't. Yeah. He was smoother about it. That's one of the things that gets on my nerves. Is that people are like, oh, Trump is, he's doing this. This is unprecedented. It's like, no, it's unprecedented that he telegraphs what he's going to do because the dude just says whatever he's thinking for the most part. Obama did stuff that y'all don't even know about. Obama did stuff that's still just coming out today because he was smooth with it. He knew not to telegraph that stuff because he would get called on it. And Trump is just he's putting it. He's going to put out if he wants to do something, he's going to put it out there. As a matter of fact, he doesn't care whether you think it's bad. And if you think it's bad and he doesn't think it's that big of a deal, he's going to troll you. He's going to troll you. He's going to post memes.
But it's one of those things, man. We've always known who Donald Trump is. Before he ran for political office, he was the apprentice, right? We saw how he treated people. We saw how he made life hard for people who worked for him and you're fired, and everybody loved it. It was good TV, but it's who he is. He's a CEO. He's a alpha male. Yes. He's always been in charge. He's always just made decisions, and those things happened. That's not the way things work in the United States government because we have a system of checks and balances. And does that frustrate him sometimes? Yeah. Right. But that's the system. Even no matter what his desire is to have his way, we have a system in place that's checks and balances, right? And they act like the fact that he just wants his way is some kind of new thing for a president, right? Like it's like you said, he's just not a politician. He's not polished. And so he says these things, and he says things that honestly, like I remember his first term, and he was talking about going after the media and all this type of stuff. And it's like, Mr. President, First Amendment, you can't do that. It's like, okay. Well, I don't like him. It's not like he's trying to like change the Constitution. Like he just has no knowledge of it.
Right.
And so he's operating in his natural state and the way he's ran his businesses, right? And if you just know that, you're like, okay, yeah, he has no idea how to do this because he's never had to. He's always just been the CEO of his own business.
That's right.
And so once you understand who he is, it's like, why are you getting all up in arms? Because he thinks that if he says this is supposed to happen. Because that's the way he's always ran a business.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with fascism. It has nothing to do with tearing up the Constitution and getting rid of elections. It has nothing to do with any of that. He is used to running a business as the single person in charge. And that's the only way he knows how to operate.
That's so well said.
And
I've had to explain that so many times.
And he's learning how to be president. Yeah, he's just learning how to be president and how to do politics and how to. That's it. He's not doing a great job of that because he's still trying to operate from a deal perspective. He's still trying to operate as if everything is a business deal. Everything is, hey, what you gonna do for me, I do for you. And if he has all the leverage, he's not gonna be in this whole government shutdown, right? And from a negotiation standpoint, he's like, I got all the leverage. Why would I give up anything? And so once you just know that, it's like, why are you all up in arms? Calm down.
Yeah.
The only people, it's just the opposition. The opposition is frustrated because he's not playing by the typical DC rules, which is good because that's why he got elected, because people didn't want him to play by the typical rules because under the typical rules, the Republicans weren't doing anything.
Yep.
They weren't doing anything. They were weak and ineffective. And so the fact that you have a conservative, I'm going to say a conservative because he's not a conservative.
Right.
But the fact that you have someone under the Republican umbrella actually doing things to get things done, it freaks the left out because they're not used to that. They're not used to someone doing what they do.
Yeah. I will say that is, they are not used to that. They're not used to, they are definitely not used to a Republican who goes on offense. They are not used to that. at all.
No. No.
And so I think that the other thing is that they don't so we look at Trump for who he is. Like we're not sitting there imbibing the media narrative that he's this fascist, that he's that he's trying to take over the government. He's never going to leave office and all that stuff. We're looking at him and we're looking at his behavior in the past. We're looking at his understanding of how government actually works, how the separation of powers works. And we know that he doesn't have that. Like he doesn't understand all of that, like you said. And even then, he's just kind of tired of how stuff works. So he's going to see if there's a way around it. Newsflash: Obama did the same thing. He did the exact same thing. He was a politician. He knew how to phrase things so that you didn't get scared when he tried to pull authoritarian moves. And so when Trump does this stuff, they freak out, and they're looking at some of the norms that he will verbally thwart, not out of hey, I'm trying to change the nature of the country, which, by the way, Obama literally said he was trying to do. He's not trying to fundamentally change the nature of the country. He's just being Trump, trying to be a CEO, and he's trying to see what he can do, right? And so when they hear that stuff, they hear, oh, he's another fascist. He's trying to change the country. He's trying to do this, trying to do that. And the media puts fuel on the fire, the mainstream media, I should say, particularly left-wing mainstream media. They put fuel on the fire. They feed the fascist narrative, the authoritarian narrative. They feed all that, and then people freak out. And I've seen so many videos really just this week. It's been very interesting. And I will say since Charlie died, I've seen people kind of waking up, but and them being more outright with the fact that they used to think the same way. They used to think, oh, all the right, they're fascist. Trump's a fascist. Like they used to have Trump derangement syndrome, and they acknowledged, like, no, I really did believe the media narrative. I did, and Anna Kasparian admitted it. Just recently, she said, look, like, judge me. She's like, I was an idiot. She's like, I was an idiot. I believed what the media said. I believed that it was true. And she's like, let's be honest. I love that it was Anna Kasparian who said this. She said, let's be honest. Basically, the media kind of poisoned the well for the Democrats. The media, they cover for the Democrats. And so she's like, who are you supposed to believe? And I'm like, yo, if Anna Kasparian can see it, okay? Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks can see it. Guys, I have zero apologies for my positions anymore. Okay, if y'all thought that I was dogged in my positions and my heels were dug in, man. I mean, after Anna Kasparian can admit it, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say I want the trophy. Where I don't have anything on my desk to hold up. I want my we were right trophy. We were right. We were right about all of it.
I think the way you put it earlier is best, and why they're freaking out and why they freaked out with Trump so much. Is like you said, they are not used to a Republican that plays offense.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. And Charlie Kirk talked about that. There was a video that surfaced after he died, and it was it was a private conversation he was having in a small room with like 4 or 5 people, and he was and it was before the election, because he was like, I don't know if we're gonna win, right? But he talked about playing offense, right? Because that's not something that Republicans have been doing, and Charlie was really big on, we got to play offense. And the fact that Trump won, Trump comes in playing offense, they just scream fascism.
Right.
Right? Because they're not used to a Republican that plays offense. Right? They have been the ones who played offense all the time. And the Republicans have been defensive. Even when we had, the White House, it's still a defensive posture. because they have always held this fake moral high ground of throwing all types of insults and labels on you.
Yes.
You know, racist, transphobe, homophobe, bigot, fascist,
Yep.
like, and the Republicans operated in fear of being called those names, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
now no one cares. It's like their words don't hurt anymore. So now they've moved past words. Right?
Dude, oh, well said, man. I need the Hammond. I need to license the Hammond from Verge and Daryl. I need to license the Hammond, because that right there, you are right, man. You're right, because the words don't matter anymore. You're exactly right. We don't care anymore. We don't care. You can go ahead and put that on record. I don't care anymore. We were so worried about being considered respectable. We were so worried about not being labeled as this or that in the public square. And now it's gotten to the point where, the left has shown who they are so much that it's like, dude, it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter what we do. Yeah. They gonna hate us anyway. So why do I care?
Yeah. I think that's Krista in the chat. Normally it is, asking why my internet is so bad again. It's not my internet. We think it's the system we're using, because I have been doing live streams every day all week, and once again, this the only time it does this. I don't know why it's doing it, because we're using Ecamm, and this is the only time I've used Ecamm. Everything else this week has been fine. And so, I have done enough things to where even when I first came on and said, hey, and it just froze and I had to get out. And it's like, and my internet is strong.
Yeah.
It's not weird. My internet. It's, yeah.
I think I have, I think I have an idea of what it is. I think that I have the resolution setting too high for live streaming. Because because I'm a video quality snob, and so it's Krista. It's Krista.
I knew it was. I knew it.
Hey, Krista.
But yeah, it does not. Something about Ecamm does not like my feed.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had any issues.
We're gonna fix it. I'm gonna turn it down to 1080p. I was trying to broadcast like at a little higher rate, and I forgot about that.
You got it higher than 1080?
Yeah, bro. I had it at 1440. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness.
That's my bad. I forgot. I completely forgot. I forgot I had it
around
set
here
like
all pixelated trying to.
It's my bad, man. It's my bad. I got your computer, your internet working extra hard.
Man.
You know. I forgot everybody ain't Future said I had you in 8K. That's my
I was like,
bad.
man, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do, man. I have been good all week. And then the minute we jump on Ecamm, it's like, yeah.
It's my bad. Oh my gosh. Chris over here talking about your internet is run by squirrels in South Africa. Oh my goodness.
I just been dealing with it. I have just been dealing.
You've been hanging in there, man. You've been hanging in there.
It's nothing I can do on my end.
Yeah. That's my fault, man. I tried to put him in 8K. I tried to put you in 8K, and I forgot, man. I forgot. You can't be taxing that Alabama internet like that. You can't be trying to broadcast in 8K from Alabama, man.
Nah. Oh man,
that is hilarious. Future. Yeah. Future said Kev's neighbors are all mad at you right now, Dev. They lights dim for the last hour. They couldn't stream nothing. It's my bad, Alabama. I done broke the internet in Alabama because I tried to stream in 1440.
Speaking of not streaming anything, I canceled Netflix this week, man. I couldn't do it anymore. Have you
Man,
heard about the Netflix scandals, man?
yeah, dude. I've been seeing clips of these shows, and so what's crazy is my wife and I actually boycotted Netflix years ago. When they had cuties, when they had cuties on, because
Oh yeah, yeah.
to us, the sexualization of children, the whole like idea that there's people that are attracted to like little girls, that have a show they can watch where, they had these little girls doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
We were like, nah, man, we ain't doing it. And so we boycotted them for many, many years. I can't remember. I think we may have access. We may have access to an account now, but like we don't turn on Netflix like that. And so this new stuff, I was just like, man, my kids better not be at home watching Netflix, while me and my wife
it's in the
don't know.
kid shows. They're throwing it in these kid shows. I'm like, okay, nah, we're done. I showed my wife. She's like, nah, we're done.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
We
It's
canceled.
ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. And again, man, here's the inflection point again that we're at. And I do want to show this Chicago ICE video because you're seeing two different worldviews, and the gap is getting wider, right? The gap's getting wider.
Yeah.
What I'm thankful for is that I think we see people waking up. I think we see a lot of people waking up and saying, I can't get with this anymore. People who used to consider themselves on the left, and they're looking at this, and this is wild. I don't know if you heard that supposedly the L's and the G's and the B's are trying to divorce themselves from the T's and the Q's.
That's been going on. And I just keep making the argument. You can say that, but you have no justification.
Nope.
You have no justification for cutting off the Q's and the T's, because the L's, the G's, and the B's open the door to this.
Yep.
Once you deny biology, once you deny human reproduction, once you deny that there is a design and intent for sexuality, then you've opened the door to everything.
Yeah.
And they have no basis or foundation for limiting it to just the LGB. They just don't.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm glad they're seeing the problem. They just need to keep on looking a little harder.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you're exactly
if they
right.
Need me
I
to
saw
do
that.
a lesson. I give them I'll give them a lesson.
You wrong. You gonna do a birds and the bees talk, man?
If they need another one, I'm available.
Yeah. It's one of those things that even but I say that to make the point that we're seeing people even in that camp who are saying, all right, this is a little bit crazy. Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm on the left anymore. Like I can't say that anymore. So it's interesting.
They're saying the crazy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And so the trend that I'm seeing now is that more and more and more people are starting to say, this ain't it. What the Democrats, what the progressives are doing, this ain't it. And you and I have been talking to people. We've been saying right now, I mean, the Democrats just taking L's right now. Progressives taking L's, Democrats taking L's, and they're doubling down. They're not. What I thought I would see happen was that they would, that they would see the vibe shift, see that people are pumping the brakes on all the progressive craziness, and say, okay, guys, we need to recalibrate. That there were a lot of people during the Biden administration that saw that, like, hey, this is like, we thought we were getting normal, and we're just going hard left. Like, this isn't what voters really wanted, and they got punished for it in 2024. And I just thought that they would figure it out. Like, you guys got to go back towards the middle, and they're not doing it.
This is the but this is the thing. They can't go back towards the middle. The middle is occupied. The middle is occupied. Trump, we've said it many times, Trump is Bill Clinton 95. Like,
thank you.
All the middle ground positions are being held by the Republicans.
Yeah.
Like, even Trump's abortion, safe, legal, and rare, right? It's like,
right.
If the Dems try to come back to the middle, what distinguishes them from what the Republicans are right now? It's just not a whole lot. I mean, you can argue over tariff policies, and they're arguing over healthcare, stuff like that. But they allowed the populist movement to be taken by the right, because the left used to be the populist movement.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
They were for the working class, and and they had all the unions and this stuff like that. Now you've got Trump, outside of the crazy left-wing unions that they're progressives. So, but like, was it Teamsters? Right.
Yeah.
They sided with Trump.
Yeah.
Like, and so, because it's his economic policies, right? His trade policies. And so they just don't have a whole lot to come to the middle on to this, because they have to be in opposition. And what's sad is that Trump is forcing them to take the 20% position on every 80-20 battle. And they just keep doing it. They can't help themselves,
Future said, "Hey, if you do a birds and the bees
Future,
talk again," she turned it into admin ranch. She blocking us.
All right. When a man and a woman really love each other. Okay, I'm not gonna do it.
Oh man, we about to lose our moderator, man. We about to lose our mod. Oh my goodness.
Krista asked, did we talk about Israel and the peace deal yet? You know what, man? I didn't even think to add that to the schedule because of so much. And when we've just been talking around, we hadn't even been sticking to our videos. But man, yeah, we could. We might throw that in at the end if we run.
Yeah.
Let's go to Chicago.
I think we
got to
get
through this stuff.
Yeah,
man.
we got to talk about Chicago. Let's talk about Chicago. This craziness, man. Yeah. So what you're looking at right now are cars. There were vehicles that were attacking ICE vehicles.
An ICE vehicle.
And this is in Chicago. You see people getting out, they're running, and this is the kind of thing. If you saw this, right? Listen, man, can you imagine? Can you imagine if some right-wing crazies decided to do something like this? Can you imagine?
It would be nonstop, 24 hours, CNN, MSNBC, everybody going in, nonstop reporting the crisis of America, right? That's all. I mean, they would be blowing it up, and they are largely silent on this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is barely a footnote.
That's right.
And I mean, just think of the nerve to do that to a law enforcement vehicle. Like, think how emboldened you have to be, or as the word I'm using, how desperate you have to be, right? To go out to do that to a law enforcement vehicle. You know they have guns.
Right.
And you're just like, I don't care. I'm gonna ram their vehicle and I'm gonna put, like, these people I'm telling you, they are getting desperate and they're losing it. because they, in their mind, they literally believe that they're fighting some type of fascist war. Like they're anti-fascist. They think they are fighting some great evil to save America. And it's like the only the only people in that comic book is you, right? In your mind. Because as someone, you know, who was in the military, I'm like, you out here playing G.I. Joe. You out here playing like you're fighting for the country. You're not. You're not. You are living, you're in your mom's basement. You have no life, and you are finding purpose in some made up LARPing event. That's what this is. They're LARPing actual I guess they try it's like they want to be vigilantes almost, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's almost, and so like they're finding purpose in this fake battle that they've created, that they're out here to defend the country. And like, yeah, it's just, yeah, these people are nuts. But they believe it though. That's why I say I'm a religious man. I know religion when I see it.
Right.
And these people are religious zealots. And
That's
so
right.
And so play the next Chicago video, and we can talk about these two things together, because this is the Chicago PD refusing to come to ISIS aid.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
Send the cars in that direction. Have them stay put 2 or 3 blocks away, all right? Have them hold tight until I give you further direction, please.
And again, per the Chief of Patrol, we have all the units that, per 999, Chief of Patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location. All right, and 999, just to confirm, 39th Police in Kedzie, they were saying that they were being surrounded by that large crowd, and they were requesting the police were not sending. I'm waving off all the cars heading to 39th Police in Kedzie.
Again, those are the orders we're being given.
Man, that's wild. That's wild.
So it's been confirmed as legit. ICE was being surrounded by a large crowd. They called Chicago PD for assistance, and the chief said no.
That's wild.
That you know how law enforcement is like the military. And when your brothers in arms say, hey, we need help, everybody wants to go. And for them to be told, nah, stand down, and you're just gonna leave them hanging, oh man, that ain't how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But these people are sick. The mayor of Chicago, these people are insane. They're willing to let law enforcement officers get killed or injured for the sake of whatever principles they think they're doing, protecting all Chicagoans, right? We're a sanctuary city. It's like, no, that's not your jurisdiction, right? You do not control immigration. That is the federal government. Matter of fact, Obama sued the state of Arizona for trying to enforce immigration laws in their own state. Right. And he won because it is very clear in the Constitution that is the power of the federal government, not the state. Right. So the fact that these cities and these states are trying to override the federal government's immigration laws and determining themselves to be sanctuary cities, they have no right to do that. They have no right to say illegal immigrants gets to stay in their city. They don't. And so these people they're sick, they're delusional. It is, I'm gonna call it false empathy.
Yes.
Right? Because like this, they created this problem. They intentionally let all of these illegal immigrants in under the Biden administration. And now the Trump administration is trying to clean it up. They're trying to cry fascist. They're trying to cry, oh, you're not being loving and you're not being caring. It's like, no, you created this problem and now you're trying to demonize me for trying to fix it. Right. And that's why I say it's fake empathy, because they want these people in here because, man, as we've seen it, we know these people are voting. We know these people are getting all types of benefits. They're counting towards their census numbers. And so, yeah, they're using these people for their own benefit. It has nothing to do with being big-hearted and wanting to help people, because once again, it doesn't make sense. Because on one hand, they'll tell you that America is white supremacist, racist, all this type of stuff. But then they would say that all of these black and brown people need to be here. And they got to be here because, I don't know, it's like, but this place is horrible. Racism is our original sin. It's all racism and white supremacy. And you telling me that Mexico is great. Well, then why can't they go? Aren't they better off in Mexico?
Right.
Like it doesn't make sense. They're not consistent in their logic and their arguments. And that they're not trying to be. These people are not genuine in anything they say. It is all about whatever agenda they're trying to achieve. And they will say whatever they have to say to achieve that agenda. And they can call, great replacement theory, a white supremacist conspiracy theory, all they want. It is true.
It's true.
It is true that the Democrats, the leftists, want to change the electorate in this country. Because for those who have a American patriotism, small government, individual liberty, freedom, as long as you have that mindset prevailing, they can't get what they want. And so if they can't change you, they'll replace you. So yeah, we're going to flood you with illegal immigrants. We're going to flood you with people who don't share your values, right? Who don't share your culture. And we're just going to change America by changing its electorate. That's the plan. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it white supremacist conspiracy. Like I said, the name calling, it just doesn't matter anymore.
It don't work no more.
It just doesn't matter. I'm like, no, this is what you're doing. You're trying to hide it behind these words, but no, that's what you're doing, And it's not even it's not about race. It's about if you hold to American values and you're not down with the progressive, plan, they want to replace you.
Yeah.
And so it's just and that's what they've been trying to do. And the more people the more people they bring in to be on government assistance, the more people they feel are going to vote for them because they are dependent upon that government assistance, right? And they want more and more and more and more people upon government assistance. They want you dependent upon the state, and they will bring in as many people as they can to do that, Yeah. And so, by the way, no voter ID laws because that's racist. Really? Is that why you don't want a voter ID law? Because you think it's racist? Because you make this argument that black people can't get IDs? Like, it's like, come on, y'all. We're not that stupid.
Right. What's
you don't want voter IDs because you want these people to vote.
Yeah. No, I mean that's exactly, and nobody okay. Nobody who's sitting back who's an honest actor is looking at people talking about, we can't have voter ID because that's voter disenfranchisement, right? And when they came up with some reason for that, they're like, there's some black folks who are older and they can't get ID, and so that's disenfranchising, these older black voters. And that was the reason that they came up with. And it's like, you guys really think that those people are enough to shift any election in any direction?
No.
That is such a, and I love what they were saying that back when Nikki Haley was the governor of South Carolina, and they were saying that when she wanted to implement voter ID, laws. And when she was running for president, she was saying she wanted to implement voter ID laws. And they were like, oh, well, like, what about this? What about these people? And it was just a talking point. It was gaslighting, right? They were using that. Everybody who has two brain cells to rub together knows that they were trying to have illegals vote. Like they know that. And Nikki Haley's response was like, okay, so we have some people who have this edge case. Okay, we got some people who have this edge case where they couldn't get ID. How about we just help those people get ID? Instead of saying that we should have no ID required to vote. How about we just do that? And I'm like, watch out, Haley, you're making too much sense. They don't want that. They don't want that. What you're saying is exactly what you should do.
Let's be honest. No one who goes through life, who is at a stage in life, or their life is in a state in which they do not have an ID, that person ain't voting.
No, that person ain't voting, man. No, they ain't voting. Man, look, Matt said something great. You had to have ID to get into the Democratic National Convention. But that's racist, though. That's right. Requiring ID is racist. It's just not honest. It's not honest, man.
It's not.
What we're seeing with the leftist violence, what it is jihad. That's really what it is. It's religious jihad. It is a political religion that is waging jihad, and you're exactly right. We have a video to show that.
I was just saying that was a smooth transition, man. I like how you did that.
Hey, appreciate that. I'll be trying. But yeah, we have people over here who aren't really hiding that they're huge fans of jihad. They're getting a little too comfortable celebrating October 7th. We got a little video to show about that.
Not act enough. We did not act enough. We did not act enough. Repeat after me. We did not act enough. We did not act enough. If we acted enough. If we acted enough. The headline behind me would read. Gaza has been liberated. So our work is not done. We must show up. Stronger than we did the first October 7th. Louder than we did the first October 7th. Make it clear that we are not going anywhere. We will keep fighting until Palestine is free. From the river to the sea. Within our lifetime. Make some noise.
That right there, this flag right here, that is the Hamas flag. That they are waving the Hamas flag in New York.
Yeah.
In New York. And they're saying we're going to show up stronger than we did on October 7th. For anybody who's maybe not following along, that means that they want more violence than there was on October 7th. They're in New York, people. They're in New York.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. I laugh at these people because he's acting like a tough guy. And I just want to laugh at him and say, October 7th was the best you could do. There will, Gaza, quote unquote, is destroyed. What are you talking about? Liberated. It's destroyed because of what your little attack did on October 7th. And I'm gonna be honest, I was all for it. I'm like, because of this, there is no making peace with these people. There is no making peace with these people, right? From the river to the sea. That's what that means, right? That means all of the land of Israel, they want it to be free of Jews. and they want to control it all. There is no two-state solution. There is no peace deal for real. There is only subjugation. And so it's one of those things of either Israel is going to subjugate them or they're going to subjugate Israel. One of the two. There is no kumbaya.
No.
And at the end of the day, Israel won. Right? And so the fact this dude is sitting here saying that as like he's big and tough, as if he has some army, as he has some ability to do something, that's why I would laugh at him. That is why I would laugh at him. You know, I'm like, you're not going to do anything because you can't, because you're weak and you're small, right? And yeah, I would just take his manhood because he's up there trying to act like a tough guy when in reality, he's in New York City. What are you talking about? You know, he probably goes to NYU, you know, he left the rally and went to Starbucks, you know, right. like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
You weren't about that. You weren't about that
life. He ain't about that life.
No. And if you want to try to act like you about that life and you want to try to talk about some bringing the Antifa here, then we can settle that then. We can settle that. I re-enlist just to go handle that problem.
Right. Right. No, I feel you. That's one of my things is like, okay, what you're talking about is terrorism. You in the street and you're promoting terrorism, you're inciting that. You're saying we're going to show up stronger than October 7th. Try that over here and see what happens.
Think about, they're in New York City. Imagine saying we're going to show up stronger than we did on 9/11.
Oh, man.
Think about that. Think about that. That is exactly what they're saying there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, like I said, man, I'm not a white nationalist because I'm not white, but I'm like, man, deport all those people.
Facts.
Just out, gone, bye.
Yep.
I'll drop you off in Gaza. You can live there. Yeah.
That's what you want. That's what you want. Know? Yeah. I'm with you. I'm like, all right, we need to check into this. Because what you're doing right now is there any recourse, right? Incitement, whatever. Like, is there something that can be done? I am all for free speech, but when you start promoting terrorism, you start saying that we need to show up stronger than October 7th. I mean, dude, can you imagine a dude standing up there with a crowd like that saying, we need to show up stronger than we did on January 6th. Can you imagine if a dude said that, the reaction? Yeah. But nobody's going to say a dang thing about this happening right here. They're not going to speak out the way that they would speak out about somebody saying that. They're going to show this news clip, but they're not going to condemn it. They're not going to condemn it, and that's
they're going to talk about understanding it. They're going to talk about and the reason I put this video in here along with the others is it's the same thing. It is the same liberation ideology of the progressive left. Yes. We call it the Red-Green Alliance, the Marxist and Islamist Alliance, right? Because their common enemy is the West. Their common enemy is America. Right. And so that is why these leftist universities support this, right? That's why these people at these universities graduating or at their graduations are wearing the gauze like the keffiyeh, what he's wearing around his neck, right? That is why these college campuses are screaming "Free Palestine." And it's the Marxist, jihadist, Islamist alliance because they have a common enemy, and the enemy is us, right? And that's I just want people to recognize and understand that. Just understand who the enemy is. Just understand who the enemy is. There is a legit movement of people who hate Western civilization. They just do. I'm just gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. There are a lot of black people who hate Western civilization.
That's right. And
The Nicole Hannah Joneses of the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Why? That's right. And I don't understand. Why live here? Why live here if you hate it so much? Why?
Because their goal is to tear it down.
Yeah.
They're here to tear it down. What's his name? I'm seeing this. The one that said on 9/11 how he didn't feel anything. Black dude.
You talking about, was it Ta-Nehisi Coates?
Ta-Nehisi Coates. Yes.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
man.
People like him. They hate America. They hate Western civilization. They're repulsed by it. Right? This is what they want. They want the revolution. They want socialism. They call it justice.
Yes.
Man, I'm not gonna go there. We ain't got time for me to go on my Dr. King rant. But he would be in alignment with them. That's all I'll say. Yeah, that's what they want, man. And they're using all their historical past grievances to justify their own self-righteousness. Right? Yeah. And their own lack of forgiveness. And yeah, it's just the whole idea is Western civilization is the cause of all evil and wrong in the world. And if it wasn't for Western civilization, then Africa would be Wakanda. That's kind of their whole, that's their whole mindset. But since we're talking about this, let's touch on the peace deal at the moment. I did not prepare to talk about this, so I'm just gonna go off the top of my head. Hamas agreed to the Trump peace deal, and Israel did as well. And from my understanding, I haven't looked at all of it, but it is Hamas is going to all hostages, dead or alive, and Israel is going to pull out of Gaza back to some point. And so that's kind of the peace deal. And moving forward in whatever kind of government is reconstituted there, Hamas can have no role in it. I know that's part of it. And I think there's some type of Arab alliance, Qatar, Saudi, Turkey is going to come in and try to establish a government there. I think that's the difficult part, and that's the part that's going to be hard to like who rebuilds it, who pays to rebuild it, that's, and then who governs it at that, because you got 2 million people there. And those 2 million people aren't just going to say, you know what? Okay, kumbaya. Everything I've been indoctrinated with my whole life about hating the Jews, about hating Israel, and then they just destroyed everything I own. That's a hard sell of kumbaya. And so how do you reform those people? How do you get those people to not look backwards, but look forward to some future that's better than what they had? I think that's the key to lasting peace, is, I would say, the complete disarmament of Gaza. No rockets, no right to bear arms, no nothing. Complete disarmament. If you can wage jihad with a knife, go ahead. But yeah, it would be a complete disarmament of Gaza. And then, you're just going to wait generations to get that indoctrination out. But I do think the fact that, because we were talking about it online, and most people say they're pessimistic, but I'm more optimistic. And the reason I'm optimistic is because Hamas has been decimated, Hezbollah destroyed, Iran neutered, Assad in Syria gone. Like, Israel has done a great job of taking out every enemy around them that could wage war, launch rockets, fund terrorist organizations. They went out to everybody. And it was hilarious to see all of these commentators, all these social media influencers trying to condemn Israel when Israel was doing the smart thing, right? they had to take out Hezbollah. They had to take out um, Hamas's leadership in Qatar. They had to take out Iran's nuclear capabilities because Iran was using that as basically a bargaining chip to hold over everyone's head. You know, they took out their nuclear scientists. Like they were taking out any threats to them after October 7th because they weren't going to have it anymore. They were tired of playing this game with this what we would call this true axis of evil, which was Iran and all of their proxies they were using to wage war on Israel. And so this is what people don't understand. All the Sunni nations around Israel made peace. Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, you know, all of those countries had made peace, recognized Israel. They were done with the whole jihad thing, river to the sea thing. The only holdout was the Shia country of Iran. And so and if you look at a map, there's a lot of distance between Iran and Israel. So what Iran was doing, partly our fault, because when we removed Saddam Hussein out of Iraq and made Iraq a democracy, Iraq is 65% Shia. And so you created a beltway that went from Iran to Iraq to Shia-controlled Syria that reached down to Israel, right? And so Iran was able to reach Israel through a network of Shia nations that reached Israel's border. Well, when Assad fell in Syria, and so now you have a Sunni-controlled Syria, that really cut it off. And then they went after Hezbollah really hard in Syria and in Lebanon and really destroyed that terrorist network. They destroyed Hamas. And then they really kind of just the Houthis in Yemen were kind of more of a nuisance than they were a real threat. And they dealt with that by dealing with Iran. And so I believe Israel is in for a period of peace because there's just no one left to attack them that can hold a legitimate conduct a legitimate attack on them. And so I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful just because there's just man. I tip my cap to them, man. They cleaned house. They really did. And it was funny to me to see left-wing and right-wing influencers trying to stop Israel from doing what they needed to do by trying to demonize Israel with false information, claiming things were genocide and all of this crazy stuff. And it was like, you all don't believe it. Oh, World War III. Remember World War III was going to happen if we hit Iran? Remember that nonsense?
Hey, I was worried about it until you explained what was really going on. I was like, snap, we about to have World War III? Like, what's about to happen?
No, man. People was just trying to influence. But if you look at Israel's plan and what they carried out, man, I tip my cap to them because that's how you do it. You know, they basically neutralized all the threats to their nation, and now they can have peace. And that's the purpose of war, right? The purpose of war, a defensive war, right? If Israel was out here trying to build a military and conquer their neighbors, that would be a different thing. Right. This was a true just war. This was a true defensive war. 100%. And they took out everyone around them who was trying to kill them. And now they're back home like, we can be in peace now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's well said, man. I do have a question. Maybe other people in the audience are asking this question, but Qatar is among this sort of alliance, right? And if Qatar is involved in establishing, helping to establish a new government in Gaza, the problem that I have with that is that Qatar housed Hamas. Why do we allow Qatar to the table if they were housing Hamas's leadership?
Qatar is a very complex issue. because we also have a military base in Qatar. It's one of our main bases in the Middle East. So to a degree, they're an ally. But at the same time, they were funding this kind of Palestinian cause, this liberation cause. And so they were sympathetic to the Palestinian cause, I would say. And so, but now that is somewhat over, like as our Secretary of War said, FAFO, right? That's what happened. And now they, people like Qatar are like, oh, our bad. Even when they got hit, they didn't get hit personally, but Hamas leaders in their country got hit, right?
Yeah.
And then they realized they were helpless. There's nothing they can do about it. Israel is far superior to them militarily. Yeah. There's nothing they could do about it. They woke up. They woke up because they don't want to be next.
Right.
It's one. I'm telling you, man. That's how you do it. If you're going to fund attacks against us, we're going to blame you.
Yeah.
And that's what they did with Iran. We're not just going to hit Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis. You're paying these people. You're funding these people. We are going to hit you because you're responsible.
You should,
right?
As they should.
As they should. And you got the idiots like Tucker Carlson out here talking, World War III and like.
I like that
stupid.
Hey, that was good. That was good.
It's just, it's so unserious. It was so unserious about World War III. And then you go and you bring on the Iranian president and have a conversation with him that's all cordial. And then you have one with Putin and you're all cordial. And then you talk to Ted Cruz about Israel and you do stupid gotcha questions. Like, these people were not serious.
Right. Right.
I
was mad.
They were framing the issue in a completely dishonest way. And that's what bothered me. Right. We can disagree, but when you're just being dishonest and trying to paint public perception of something that's just not true, that's what bothered me. All because you didn't want U.S. involvement. So we're going to make Israel the bad. We're going to make Ukraine the bad guys, and we're going to make Russia the good guys, and we're going to, and all because we want to sway public opinion against U.S. involvement.
Right.
That's trash. That's the word I'll use.
Straight trash. No, I'm with you on that. That, and I think that people are starting to wake up, at least to they're waking up to the Candace Owens of the world. That's a whole separate conversation because of all the craziness that she's spouting. Tucker Carlson, in my opinion, still has too much dang influence. He has too much dang influence. He shouldn't be listened to as much as he is.
And I wish Charlie was still here now that I know how he was feeling about the Jewish pressure and Tucker, because that's what it was over. It was over Tucker Carlson. And I would have told Charlie, they're right, and you should disavow Tucker because Tucker is being very dishonest.
Yes.
And if I was giving you $2 million a year, and that was who you were going to platform, I would stop giving you $2 million.
1,000%. 1,000%.
I would do the same, not because I'm trying to control you, but because you're showing horrible judgment right now.
Yeah.
Right. Because nobody was saying, hey, you got to do this, you got to do. But that dude is completely lying.
Yes.
He's completely working against the cause of Israel. I'm giving you $2 million a year, and you're going to platform him anyway.
Thank you.
No, I just take my $2 million somewhere else.
And walk. Yeah, like, listen, this guy is a big enough problem. This guy is a big enough liar that if you're going to associate with him, my money is not going to go towards you. I was mad that Tucker Carlson got to speak at Charlie's memorial. I'm like, why do y'all have this dude here? Why y'all got this fool here?
It would be like, I'm trying to think of, let's say there was a rich, let's say it was some wealthy black person that cared about issues in the black community, and they were giving, $2 million to some organization they thought was doing good work, right? And then that organization said, we're going to bring in Nick Fuentes
Right.
to speak. I'm like, I'm not giving you $2 million. That's who you're going to bring in. Like,
Yeah.
it's not about control, but it's like, read the room. Right? Read the room.
Or hey, maybe just listen to what that cat says and base your decision off of the fact that he's crazy. He's lying.
Because not only was Tucker, this is the thing, not only was Tucker framing this thing intentionally wrong and having a nice sit down with the president of Iran.
Yeah.
But he had on Daryl Cooper, the fake historian that's talking about Hitler had it right and all this type of stuff, right? This World War II revisionist history. Like, if I'm a Jewish person, I'm not giving you $2 million either. If you're gonna platform that dude.
It's like, see ya, I'm out. Y'all can do that. I'm leaving.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of questions in the chat about the military and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The military can do operations. It has to be a actual federal emergency. For instance, I think that was active duty, or was it in the National Guard when they sent the military in to integrate the schools in Arkansas in the 50s. So the states it wasn't that, it was the federal government, because the states were rejecting. The states were refusing to integrate schools.
Yes.
And the federal government sent troops in to forcibly integrate troops. So under certain situations, the federal government, the federal military can operate within the United States. But largely, you're right. If there was, it depends on how bad it got. It will originally be a local police, FBI, law enforcement issue. But if it became like guerrilla warfare, right? If it became armed Palestinian supporters in the streets of New York, we send the military in.
Foreign and domestic.
That's not a law enforcement issue at that point. Like, nah, we're going to take some people down.
Yep.
And like I said, I would re-enlist to be a part of that.
Word.
Let's see. I saw some more questions.
Yeah, there was a question about so I want to put Nikki's up here. Why release Palestinian prisoners? I don't understand that.
Like I said, it was just part of negotiations. It was part of the peace deal. And so if I'm Israel, I don't mind releasing them if there's some plan to ensure they don't just become combatants again, right? Yeah. Israel had to feel comfortable, whatever that plan is moving forward, that these people won't just be fighters again. Because, like I said, the people in prison are typically the hardliners, right? This isn't someone that got caught jaywalking, right? These are usually the hardliners that they have to imprison. Yeah. And usually when you let those people out of prison, they return back to their roots because they're the believers. They're the hardcore believers. And so, but this is the thing. What are they going back to? There's no Hamas military anymore to line up the ranks and fight for. Like, it's just, they've been decimated. And I think the plan is for some type of Arab force to come in there. They're going to clean out all those tunnels. Yeah. Like, there's so many tunnels under that city. They're going to have to go through. I'm a booby trapped. And they're going to go and have to, they've got weapons stashed in there. They've got to go in there and clean all of that stuff out so that Gaza is no longer a militarized zone anymore. Yeah. And it's good that Israel isn't the ones who have to do it, because as long as Israel is in there doing it, it's going to be fighting. Mm-hmm. The hope is that there won't be any fighting. I mean, and it shouldn't be. Hamas has agreed to it. So, but we'll see.
The question, I mean, that My thing is, I know that I'm largely ignorant about this, which is why I think this is great, because we get to ask you these kind of questions. I don't trust the other Arab nations to actually go through and get rid of all the weapons and to basically either flood the tunnels or do whatever to the tunnels. I don't trust them to do it. I mean, is there somebody from the U.S.? In my opinion, there should be somebody from the U.S. or somebody else from
some type of oversight.
Yeah, there has to be, in order for that to be trusted. Why would I trust Qatar, et cetera, to do that when they were willing to house Hamas leadership? Why would I trust them to clear out the tunnels? I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah,
if I were Bibi Netanyahu, I'd be like, okay, that's cool. Y'all gonna do it? Trump, you better send somebody to watch over it.
If I had, more than likely it's going to be Saudi Arabia. It's probably going to be the biggest legwork of it. If I had to guess, just the countries that were involved in the negotiations were Turkey, Qatar, and Saudi. I could see Turkey doing it as well. Turkey is a NATO member. I know people forget that. They don't act like it, but right. Turkey's a member of NATO. And so I can see the Turks being a big part of that as well. Qatar within the negotiations, but Qatar doesn't really have like a large military or anything like that. They're a very rich nation, who have influence, but they don't have any kind of military influence, anything like that. So from a military standpoint, it would be Saudi Arabia and Turkey would be the biggest two. I can say the biggest question is what happens to those 2 million people, and who's going to pay to rebuild that thing? My solution has I said from day one that it needs to be an international zone. It's not its own state. It's not a state. It is make it an international zone. Every nation puts an embassy there. Is on the Mediterranean. Got great beaches. Turn that thing. Put some Trump hotels and resorts on that thing, man, and call it a day.
Oh man. Oh my goodness, that would be hilarious. That'd be hilarious if that actually did happen. Man, that was the biggest troll.
I'm just saying
it
can't go back to what it can't go back to what it was.
It can't.
And the people of Gaza have shown that they can't self-govern.
Right.
They were given an opportunity to self-govern in 2005, and this is what they did with it. They've lost that.
Hamas.
They elected Hamas, and they just turned it into a militarized zone, right? And then I blame the UN as well.
Absolutely,
all of these NGOs, the UN, because they were sympathetic to the Palestinians. They were funding. Hamas leadership got rich off of the aid that was given, right? Because the aid wasn't just going to the people, it was going to Hamas, who controlled it, and then they basically profited off of it and got very, very wealthy. They never cared about improving the lives of the people there.
No.
That's why they spent all that money on rockets and tunnels, right? They could have invested in those people. They could have invested in the infrastructure. Instead, they invested in what their charter has been and always has been, and that's the elimination of Israel.
Yes.
That's the only thing they ever cared about. And so there was no two-state solution. There was no peace that was ever going to happen. They had the whole purpose for Hamas's existence is the destruction of Israel. That's what people don't understand.
Right. Right.
And so there was no future with that. And so and like I say, and the people of of Gaza voted them into office.
Right.
And it was just a bad situation all around, but they have no right of self-governance. It is not an independent state. Forget a two-state solution. It's an international zone. It's like Washington, D.C. It's not a state. It's a territory. We're just gonna call it a territory. They have no military. They can have some local governance, like little mayors. to run their little cities and stuff, but there's no government, there's no military, there's no nothing, you know.
Right.
And yeah, call it a day.
Yeah. I will say that ultimately, in my opinion, Israel should just own it. I mean, I know
that's
that
too controversial.
It's too controversial, but in my opinion, that's...
But honestly, Israel doesn't want it. Israel wants the West Bank, because that's. I tell people all the time, the reason the West Bank is important is because think about the fact that Bethlehem is not part of Israel right now.
That's insane.
Like, there are historical areas that are really important to the Jews, to Israel, that they do not own. And it's what we call the West Bank. It's Judea and Samaria and all. Like, they don't care about Gaza.
Yeah.
They gave Gaza away. It is the West Bank where Bethlehem and all of these other cities we read about in Scripture are located, and they're not a part of Israel today.
It makes no sense.
That's where the friction is. That's what Israel really wants.
Yeah.
And so that's a whole nother conversation. But Gaza, nobody wanted Gaza.
Yeah.
They were fine with it. There's no historical significance to Gaza, I would say.
Yeah. The only reason I think that Israel should own it is so that they can go in themselves and make sure that they can never mount a military operation from that place ever again. I just personally think that Gaza lost all rights to their land when they launched that attack. They lost all rights to that land, and Israel honestly should have been able to go in there and just be like, "This is Israel now. You messed around. You found out. Mine now."
And I know that I've said it before, but that is how they've lost their land every single time.
Yeah.
They launch an attack on Israel. Israel pushes back. Israel wins. Israel claims more land. That has been the story of the Arabs, is they launch an attack, they lose, Israel gains more ground, and then they cry victim. And so, like you said, this could have been the same thing, but Israel doesn't want it. Israel does not want Gaza. And so, yeah, it's just, that's the story of the region.
Yeah.
People can talk about injustice and colonization. No, this was Arabs launch war, Arabs lose. Notice I'm saying Arabs, not Palestinians. There was no such thing.
No such
thing. They were just Arabs. Egypt owned Gaza. Jordan owned the West Bank, right? They launched attacks against Israel. They lost. Israel conquered and grabbed more land and held it. That was it. Yeah. And many of the people who are in places like Gaza and the West Bank, their ancestors, their families were told to leave. Basically, get out the way. We're going to destroy Israel, and then you can go back. And then when they lost, there was no going back.
There's no going back, baby.
And now they're like, well, Israel did this. Like, no, you did this.
Yeah.
You did this because you could not live with the thought of a Jewish state. Destroy it. And when you lost, you cried victim. And now all these people are displaced. They can't go back because Israel controls their territory now. And now people want to just make it about colonization. It's like, nah, you took the L.
You took the L.
They've been taking L's. And this is another L.
And people got to stop acting like they want anything different when we've seen over and over and over and over the decades that, listen, this is what they do. This is what they do. They have a problem with Israel existing. They wait. How long is it going to be? How long is it going to be? It's going to be 20 years before we get the next one, and then we relive all this bull crap. Just let Israel own the junk, man. Just stop. Why we gotta let this happen? Just stop. Just let Israel own it. That's my opinion.
Like I said, the problem is 2 million people there who would not be appreciative of Israel being there and being over them. That's where it would just be inflammatory right now, and that's why it just can't happen.
Yeah,
you know, Israel would have to come in there like with an iron fist and subjugate them. Like it just wouldn't go well.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is though, there's like all the neighboring countries didn't want them either. Egypt didn't want them. Jordan didn't want them.
Because
you know what I'm saying?
They're a headache. I'm just gonna they're viewed as a headache. Yeah. You know, people talked about Gaza was a open air prison. Well, the only way it was a prison is because Egypt closed their border too.
Yeah.
You know, there was a blockade against them. Egypt was part of that blockade. Like, it wasn't just Israel. Egypt doesn't want them either. When they went into southern Lebanon, they caused a lot of issues in Lebanon, in southern Syria. Like, they just weren't liked. You know, we try to put everybody together over there as one people group. Now, these are different ethnic groups and tribes and stuff. And yeah, the others, people, they just don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't like them because they cause trouble where they go. That's kind of the reputation they have. Because they're just still angry, and wherever they go, they're not like model citizens or adding to your, they're going to start terrorist organizations and launch rockets and and Egypt and Jordan and all these other countries just did not want to deal with it.
Yeah. No, I get it, which is also why I don't think they should be able to live on Israel's border, but not our problem right now. So we did have another video about the right-wing terror narrative. Do we want to show that? Do you want to show any of that?
No, it's too long at this point. It's too long at this point. We can talk about it next week.
Cool.
Because it's still going to be a valid thing to talk about.
Absolutely. Because we got to debunk this whole it's right-wing violence is the more prevalent, but that's not real.
Yeah.
Not true.
Yeah. But let's talk about this government shutdown before we get out of here.
Let's talk about this government shutdown. Yeah. So
and this this is your topic.
Okay.
This is your gleeful. This is your happy place.
It's like I always tell people like, oh, the government's gonna shut down, and I'm like, don't threaten me with a good time. Listen here, talking about this stuff. I'll show the video first, then we can discuss. But I just think that this is all. It's all hilarious. It's all hilarious. So let's take a look at what CBS got to say. And I just want to note, this is pre Barry Weiss CBS, because Barry Weiss is just become the editor-in-chief of CBS.
Big news. Big news.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. That's huge. I mean, I'm willing to give him a chance. If Barry Weiss is running the show, I'm willing to give CBS News a shot.
Same.
But this is pre Barry Weiss CBS. So let's see what they talking about right now.
Federal workers across the country are bracing for more layoffs and furloughs.
The Trump administration says the cuts are coming because we're now into day 9 of the government shutdown, really with no end in sight.
CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn is tracking the latest developments. He joins us now live from New York. Good morning, Bradley.
Meredith, Sandra, good morning. President Trump said yesterday he'd support the idea of a standalone bill to pay active duty troops, but he still thinks there's plenty of time for lawmakers to reach a broader agreement to reopen the government. But at the Capitol yesterday, both sides seemed firmly dug in.
In the affirmative, the motion upon reconsideration is not agreed to.
In the Senate, a Republican bill to fund the government again failed yesterday to get the needed 60 votes to pass. Democrats are pushing for the extension of health care subsidies that Republicans have refused for now.
If you want our votes for the budget, you've got to make sure that you don't ruin the health care system this fall.
The difference is they're trying to hold us hostage. No, we want to have a debate about how to do it right, and save the taxpayers' money.
With the two sides locked in, the Senate's top Republican has now suggested he could hold votes on standalone bills to fund parts of the government, including a defense appropriations bill. More than 1 million active duty troops could miss their next paycheck if the shutdown continues.
The government shut down.
In San Francisco, tourists were turned away from the National Park Service's Alcatraz Island, while in Chicago, federal workers held a rally.
We are standing together, many of us unpaid, but all of us unbroken.
And concerns continue for many passengers at the nation's airports.
With the shutdown, I'm worried about, do they have enough air traffic controllers to make sure that we're going to get there safely?
This week, airports in Nashville, Dallas, Boston, and other cities have all seen slowdowns from staffing issues and call-outs.
The IRS also announced Wednesday it's furloughing more than 34,000 employees. That is roughly half their workforce, and it could mean the closure of taxpayer call centers. Sandra, Meredith?
Here we are in day 9. Bradley, when is the next vote expected?
Yeah, yesterday's vote was the 6th time they've failed to reach an agreement, and a 7th vote could happen today. But at this point, guys, there's no sign the results would be any different. Both sides seem to think their message is working with their respective bases. But our own CBS News polling shows that a broad majority of Americans is concerned about what this shutdown means for the economy.
Yeah, concerned for sure. All right, CBS's Bradley Blackburn live in New York for us this morning. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Please, bro.
Man. You did not have to smile that hard when they said they were going to lay out 34,000 IRS workers.
Did I smile? Did I smile? My face did that involuntarily.
It was definitely involuntarily.
Man. Man. Lord of mercy. Man, my bad. I'm like, yo, just make some of them cuts permanent. Make some of them cuts permanent. Listen, I was excited about a Trump presidency when he brought Elon on, and they were going to go through the government with the shears and just start. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Go through there and start trimming it. So I am when there's a government shutdown, and listen, I'm not trying to. I know there are people whose livelihoods depend on the federal government being funded, but I just venture to say that most people think that our government spends money on stupid stuff. We spend money on stupid stuff, and I would love to see the government come back smaller. That's my I would love that.
I mean, when Biden passed that bill to hire, was it 80,000 more IRS agents?
Yeah.
That's what was like. Come on now,
right?
Come on,
they're coming for you. Right, like that's what, all the progressives who were they're going to tax the rich. No. You don't need that many IRS agents to tax the rich.
You also don't
go
need
after the citizenry.
You also don't pass a law to where anything over $600 has to be reported.
Correct.
To go after the rich. That's not going after the rich.
Nope. They're going after you. That's who they're going after. So yeah. So here's the reality of it. The reality of it is that the Democrats want to see certain things that the Trump administration got rid of. They want to see that stuff brought back. And that is why they're stonewalling and trying not to pass a continuing resolution to fund the government, because they want the provisions that the Trump administration struck down that basically straight up give health care to illegal immigrants. They want to see that come back. They will say up and down. That they don't want that, but it's one of the things they're demanding to come back, and it's in the law. Like it was in there. So you can't say that you don't want that when you're literally saying, I'm not going to give you my vote unless you bring it back. That means you want it. that means you want it. We're not stupid. So that's one of the provisions. I think one of the other ones was I can't remember for sure. I think they wanted the hotline that was trans affirming. There was some sort of national hotline that was trans affirming that the Trump administration changed. To just help with suicide prevention. Period. They want the trans affirming branch back. If I'm not mistaken, that's one of the demands that they have. And so it's not that the Republicans were trying to push more stuff. It's that the Democrats are stonewalling to try to regain ground that they lost, and they're demanding that they get that stuff back, or they're not going to fund the government. So this whole thing that they're saying, the Republicans are the reason that the government shut down. It's like, no, you guys are making crazy demands. The American electorate decided that they wanted Trump. They knew what Trump was going to do. For the most part, they knew what Trump was going to do. For the most part, they're not mad at anything that Trump has done yet. And the reality is you took an L. You took an L. The American public did not like what you were pushing. They were in favor of what Trump wanted, and you guys are asking the Republicans to claw that back. And why should they have to? Why should they have to claw it back? They shouldn't. So that's my 2 cents there.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think they also want to fund PBS and NPR again. That was part of the demands as well.
No. Oh, look, my face is doing it again. Oh, man. So glad that national communist radio is gone.
But once again, this is just a desperation move. The Democrats don't have any power. And so this is the only move they have to try to get anything. And so that's why they're digging their heels in, because they don't control the House, the Senate, or the White House. And so this is politics as usual.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, she broke away from the Republicans.
Yes. Talk a little bit about that.
Because she wants the healthcare, basically, I forgot the word I'm looking for. Subsidies. She wants those passed back in there because it's people in her district, right? She represents her district. And she's saying that their healthcare premiums are going to go up if we don't pass that. And this is my problem with it. That's something the Biden administration did, which means that's only a couple of years old, right? So it's not like the world is going to end or go back to some ridiculous thing if those subsidies don't continue, right? And that is my issue with socialism. Anytime the government does something, it's hard to take it away because now people say, oh, I'm dependent on it. Oh, you can't take, my premiums are going to go up. And it's like, so we got to keep funding everything forever because it's going to have some negative effect on you because you've gotten used to the government paying for this for you? No. And let's be honest, anything the government subsidizes does not get cheaper. It just gets more expensive for everyone else, right? And so the government subsidizing all this healthcare stuff is not making healthcare prices go down, it's making them go up, right? Stop subsidizing healthcare. Get government out of it altogether. Cut Medicaid, cut Medicare, cut Obamacare, cut everything of it, and make the healthcare market dependent upon the actual market that is out there that people can pay. Because these prices are ridiculous because the government and these insurance companies subsidizes it and pays for it, right? Make these hospitals and these doctors compete in a capitalist market against each other, and then see who charges me $10,000 for an X-ray, right? It's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. But anytime you have that third party involved, whether it's government or whether it's private healthcare, it drives the price up because they can charge more from a collective payer than they can from the individual who's having to pay out of pocket, right? And so, it just drives all the cost up. And so this idea that, the Biden administration passed this in 2022, and so if you take it out now, my rates are going to go back up. Well, they're just going to go back to what they were in 2022. You were paying it then, you can pay it now. Like,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the whole idea. So the way that this usually works is that the people who want more government involvement, they'll put something in there and it's supposed to be temporary. And what they fully expect is that people are going to demand it as the status quo after that, and they're going to be pissed when the temporary provision, temporary subsidy goes away. They'll be like, "Oh, you can't do this to me." And so that's what they were betting on. I can almost guarantee you that that's what they were betting on. I can't give you 100%, but that's usually the game plan.
Yeah, none of that stuff ever goes away. So yeah, once it's in there and once people are used to it, yeah, because if you take it away, they're just gonna say, if you talk about taking it away, they can say, you just hate old people or you hate poor people. Oh, this is just the rich, and it's just the same nonsense, man.
Right, and that is that's my major problem. I have the exact same problem that you're talking about. Is that the entire healthcare industry is based on prices that could never sustain themselves in an actual real free market. They could never sustain themselves in that market. And so this whole idea that we're going to continue to just entrench further what we have now, why on earth would anybody actually want that? Why would anybody actually want that? And I'll tell you why. They don't know that the prices would be lower if the government wasn't involved. They don't actually know that because they don't understand economics. That's one of the problems we have, is that people don't understand economics. They don't understand that free markets actually mean that people have to compete to get your business, and that means that they can't just jack the price up on you because some insurance company is going to pay it. They can't do that. The idea that we were going to force somebody just for breathing to buy insurance, just because you alive, you got to buy insurance.
I still don't know how that passed. I still don't know how Obamacare passed. Yeah, I know. I still don't understand his logic. It's unconstitutional. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't judge his intentions because I don't know. If it's anything like what I think it is, my hypothesis is that he wanted to be respected. He didn't want to be seen as the enemy. He didn't want to be the one to stop it from happening. There was so much pressure. Obama had so much momentum behind him at the time. He did not want to be the one who killed it. He didn't want to be the one. That's what I think happened.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be the one.
Yeah. I mean, because he made this whole argument about, their job isn't to legislate. So basically, because it passed a legislature, that means it's constitutional? No.
Right.
No, they can pass something. We're coming to you to say this is unconstitutional. The government cannot force you to buy a product.
Thank you. Thank you. It's like people are like, oh, well, you have to buy car insurance. I don't have to drive a car. I don't have to drive a car, right? Like, I know I just by function of me existing, I am not required to have a car. I mean, I live in ATL, so you want to get around, you need to have a car, right? But it's not the same thing as, hey, you're alive, you're a citizen in this country, therefore you have to buy this thing. No.
Yeah.
It's completely unconstitutional. So people, stop trying to entrench a system that is basically bankrupting people because it's artificially propping up a market that could not exist without a bunch of mechanisms that are dependent on you paying insurance continually and the idea that we're going to use insurance for everything, and therefore
Yeah.
all
And I look
healthcare is expensive.
And I look at it like this. Let's say an MRI machine. Let's say it costs millions of dollars to buy state-of-the-art MRI machine.
Yeah.
At some point in time, that thing has paid for itself.
Correct.
But yet, when I go in there to get that MRI, it's going to be $12,000. For what?
Right.
What cost that amount of money? What is the cost of this thing? It doesn't have to be that much money.
No.
They're just ripping you off. And then you got all these different fees they stack on your hospital bill, and you got the you came through the door fee, and then it's the we gave you a new sheet on your bed fee, and like it's just
Right.
so ridiculous, right?
$500 for some Tylenol. You know what I'm saying? Like $500 for a bottle of ibuprofen.
And
you
the
know
thing
what I'm
is,
saying?
it works the same way in the military. Like the government prices, the amount of money we had to pay for regular stuff because it was government was ridiculous.
Yep.
Like if we needed new computers, we could not just go down the street to Best Buy and buy a new, computer for let's say $1,200 or a stacked out, decked out computer.
Yeah.
No, we had to go through the government catalog and order the same computer, and it's gonna be like $8,000. Like the same thing, the same specs, but it's just people don't understand how wasteful the government is.
Right.
They don't. They
So
just don't understand.
That's why when I hear government shutdown, my face just involuntarily goes. It just happens. It just does. You know what I'm saying? When I think, oh man, we're not gonna have to pay a ridiculous amount of money for some custom cups to fit in a fighter jet. We want to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's a real story, by the way. But this whole healthcare thing, man. I remember the day that the company I was working for had to call everybody in the company into the auditorium. They had to call everybody in there and basically say, "Hey, look," because the ACA had passed. It had just passed, and it was going into effect, and healthcare premiums shot through the roof.
Through the roof.
I mean,
Obamacare made healthcare so expensive.
It made it unbearable almost. I mean, it was like taking a pay cut. It was like getting demoted at work because my healthcare premiums for my family went up so much. And they were saying, "Hey, look, like we absorbed as much of this cost as we could, but we can't take on all this cost for all y'all. You guys are going to have to absorb some of the cost for this." And I remember the owners of the company, they were sad about it. They're like, we hate to do this to y'all, but we can't as a company absorb all this cost. We don't have the margins to absorb this. And healthcare has sucked at every company I've ever worked at ever since. I worked at the company I worked at after that had 300,000 employees, and you would think that we would have amazing healthcare coverage because you just have that many people paying into the program. No, that was actually some of the worst healthcare it was some of the worst insurance that I had. Insurance has been awful ever since the ACA. So, MTG once again wrong. MTG, she's got a penchant for being wrong, but wrong. She's wrong. I will say the last thing I'm gonna say on this is that when you look at an insurance company, think about the premiums that you're paying. Think about that. That $12,000 MRI that you mentioned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you even pay? I mean, maybe you pay $12,000 in a year. Maybe, depending on how big your family is. Maybe you pay $12,000 into your premiums in a year. If you work for a company, if you're a W-2 employee, you work for a company, they contribute some to that as well. So maybe you crack $12,000 into a premium a year. and you go and you get one MRI and that wipes it out. What if you do something else? Where's the insurance company get that money? Because you're not paying it in. Nobody's paying that much in. And so
it is the healthy people pay for the sick people.
That's right.
It's like Social Security. The working people pay for the people who aren't working.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You all got to pay in there, and the insurance company takes that money. They put it, they put it in the market. To my knowledge, they put it in the market so that hopefully that it grows, so that the premiums are growing with the stock market, et cetera, other things they're able to put the money into, and the hope is that the growth always outpaces the insurance claims. And so that's what you're paying into. That's what you're paying into. That's how insurance works. So if you think that by having the government do universal health care, that's going to fix the problem, no, it's not going to fix the problem.
This is what they thought was going to happen. They said, hey, young people typically don't get insurance because, number one, they don't make a lot of money. They're young, they're healthy. They don't think they're going to get sick. They don't think they're going to need health insurance like that. And so a lot of young people just didn't have health insurance. And so they said, hey, but if we make it to where everyone gets health insurance, you're going to have all of these young, healthy people paying into it and not use it, right? And so they thought they were going to have this like surplus coming in of young, healthy people now paying into the health insurance pot, but not really using it because they're young and healthy and they don't really need it. And that's just not how it works, especially when they made it to where health insurance companies had to take on people with pre-existing conditions, right? So someone has a very expensive, health problem, the insurance company has to take them on and pay for all that treatment, right? That's just... Yeah. And so, it made premiums skyrocket. It was crazy. Yep. And it wasn't for rich. I remember my mom was, she didn't make a lot of money. And I remember her healthcare premiums doubled. And and I was like, this is supposed to be something to help people. All right. And it just didn't. And the fact that people still don't, the fact that people look at Obama's presidency as a success, it baffles my mind.
Yeah, that's insanity. Insanity. I mean,
because like I said, because people, just healthcare cost, from a Christian standpoint, the alphabet stuff, even race relations, his whole Trayvon Martin thing, and like his presidency was not which is why following his presidency you got Trump.
That's right. You don't get Trump. You don't get Trump without 8 years of Obama. Like, no. and what everybody thinks is it was a backlash. Everybody thinks it was a backlash that white people were mad, and so we got Trump because they were mad that a black man was president. It's like, no, that's incredibly dumb because some of the same folks who voted for Obama in the first term voted for. I mean, when they voted for him the first two times, they voted for Trump the third time. Why on earth would those people vote him in twice and then vote for Trump?
That's what I was going to get at.
Because Obama was bad. He was terrible.
That logic is so stupid. It's like, so they didn't know Obama was black the first time,
right?
And then the second time, what happened? They didn't know he was black then either,
right?
Like, it makes no sense.
The third time, I voted for a Negro. Let me. No, that's not what happened. Oh my goodness, man.
Because if his presidency had been truly successful, then Hillary would have been president.
Thank you.
It just would have been. What happened after Reagan? You had 8 years of Reagan. What followed Reagan? His vice president, Bush became president.
That's right.
If Obama's presidency was successful, Hillary would have been president.
Hillary would have been president.
Or Joe, you know.
Right.
But it wasn't successful.
Mm-mm.
And and people wanted something different because he wasn't successful. And so just the fact that people today don't look back on it like it was not a success. It wasn't good.
No.
You know, he got reelected the first time because he still blamed all his issues in his first 4 years on the previous administration. Well, after 8 years, he just couldn't do that no more.
Nope.
You know, and that's what it was. It's like, is 8 years, this is you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
that's right.
And so, and so there was a backlash against his presidency, and that's why Hillary didn't get elected. And so, but
my racism,
like I said, so
my racism.
So the theme of tonight has been the left is desperate, whether it's the political attacks or whether it is the government shutdown. They're desperate to get, power, to get things passed, to get things back the way they want it, and they're doing anything they can. I saw this. I was like, okay, I got to throw this in there. This is hilarious. No one goes anywhere until the illegals get free health care. And that's what it is, too, because California is hurting, because California was using those subsidies. So what the subsidies do is they fund emergency rooms for unpaid care, which we know what that means.
Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of illegal aliens use the emergency rooms for health care. And so the government came up with this reimbursement plan to help fund these emergency rooms for unpaid care. And the Trump administration cut that out, and they want that in. But that was just their loophole for funding illegal alien health care, especially in places like California. And so now that they're not getting reimbursed for that health care, they want it back. And so, it's just stuff like that. It's like that. We can't keep paying for all this stuff. You cannot. So, as Margaret Thatcher said, socialism works great until you run out of other people's money, right?
Thank you.
You can't keep paying all this stuff. You can't pay for everything that you think feels good for you to do. Like, and we got to stop calling these things rights and entitlements too. You don't have a right to it, and you're not entitled to it. This is charity. And the fact is, the government should not be in the role of charity. I'm just going to be real. If someone is in need, that's number one, their responsibility. Number two, their family responsibility. Number three is their community, right? That's what we need to put the onus back on and get out of the government business of providing charity and taking care of people, because this is the result. So as Joy Reid said, we want to go back to the day when there was no income tax, because you weren't trying to fund. It's not even about funding everything. You weren't trying to use the taxpayers' money to buy votes.
Thank you.
Because that's what all this stuff is. It is simply buying votes by promising people stuff, promising them services.
Yep.
That's all this is. And the politicians don't want to lose those purse strings to dangle over the public's head to get elected. But she's right. That is the world we want. We want a world where I don't pay income taxes. You're not taxing me for working. And we're not paying for all of this crazy stuff. We have a small federal government. We fund the military. We fund border security and some state parks. That's it.
Yeah. That's right. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want.
Federal parks, national parks.
That's exactly
national parks,
what I want.
Military, national, and security. That's it.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. And listen. Some people could make a an argument based on Old Testament law in Israel that a government should make allocation for the poor, the gleaning of the crops, etc. I'm willing to debate that, right? I'm willing to debate that. I'm not even 100% against that. I'm against it at the federal level.
I was going to say, no, that's the state.
Yeah,
that's
thank
the state.
you.
I'm in Alabama. Yeah. If we have poor people who have an issue, that is on the state. If we're going to do a government thing, right, to determine the best way, we should not be looking to Washington D.C. to fund whatever issues we have in our state. No,
not in any way. It's just not. I mean, if you think about anybody who's ever had to manage a system. Manage a large group of people that have their own divisions and stuff. Trying to handle everything from the top doesn't work. At a certain point, you have to decentralize decision-making so that people can be more efficient, so that you don't have to handle that stuff all the way at the top, and you don't have to have one-size-fits-all solutions, et cetera. And so those sorts of...
you're not subsidizing bad behavior.
100%.
Because that's largely what we do.
Yes.
Because there's no accountability to getting support. It's simply, what do you make? How many kids you have? Oh, you're single? Okay, this is what you get.
That's it. That's it.
There's nothing about why are you in this situation? How are we going to get you out of this situation? You know,
that's right.
There's no personal accountability.
Correct.
It is simply what is promised and owed to you based on your income level and your kid, the amount of children you have.
That's right.
And that's just a horrible system, because you're just rewarding, and young girls will tell you, like, their whole goal was just to, if they finish high school, was to get on Section 8, get a house, get on welfare, get on food stamps. Like, that was just the goal.
Yeah.
And the government rewards that behavior. They incentivize it.
That's right.
And so, yeah. And so it's like, no, we that is a horrible, because the government shouldn't be in the role of charity. Yeah. If there were people that person was accountable to, they would say, no, I'm not paying for a roof over your head. You're gonna go to work.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. And so it's just it rewards bad behavior. As Thomas Sowell said, any economist know any behavior you subsidize, you get more of. Any behavior anything you tax, you get less of.
Yeah,
we subsidize the worst behaviors, and we've got more of it, because they, at the end of the day, like I said at the beginning, they want more people on the government system. They just do. Yeah. Because as long as you're on the system, you need them.
That's exactly right. And if we want. If we ever want to fix that, at the very least, those things have to be decentralized. At the very least, they have to be decentralized.
They got to be decommunized.
Thank you.
Because when you say centralized planning and a centralized economy is just communism.
It's just communism, straight communism. Again, I mean, the whole idea that the healthcare thing. Oh, we're all going to pay in, and the people who don't need it are going to pay in. The people who do need it are going to pay in, and what does that sound like? From each according to his ability, to each according to his need.
Yep,
that's what it is.
Yep. Yep.
And you want to do that on your own. You want to get a bunch of people to consent to that. You want to do that on your own. Cool. You compel, you coerce with government force people to do that. That's just communism. That's all it is.
Yeah,
that's what it is. I wanted to see if we could fit one more thing in that happened that Future brought up. One more thing.
Okay.
The Katie Porter interview. Did you see that?
I did. And I thought about that because
clip.
I'm glad you had a clip, because it goes into our first part of our show.
Yes.
About it's not left-wing violence, it's just left-wing crazy.
Yeah. Straight crazy. Straight crazy.
Yeah, go ahead and play it.
All right. That's right, Future. It's just for you. Just for you.
A fiery interview with former Congresswoman Katie Porter is going viral. This was part of a series of interviews with candidates for California governor. Our Mark Cota-Robles live in the newsroom with some excerpts from that interview. Mark?
Yeah, Mark, good afternoon. Katie Porter has emerged as the current Democratic frontrunner in the race for governor. The former Orange County Congresswoman is famous for grilling her political opponents. Now she's being criticized for how she handled a recent CBS interview with an investigative reporter.
I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't think
I feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The interview was intended to focus on Prop 50, California's redistricting ballot measure.
Nah, that what they cut it.
Yeah,
they cut it.
There's more to it.
It gets way more intense than that.
There's more.
Okay.
Both Democratic and Republican candidates were interviewed by the same reporter, but in a 3-minute clip posted online, the conversation between Porter and the reporter is making all the headlines.
The question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't care. I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
Well, Porter went on to say that she did not want to have an unhappy experience and for it to be captured on camera. Though she threatened to walk out, Porter stayed in the interview. It continued on for another 20 minutes. Keep in mind, it is early in the campaign. The California primary will be held on June 2nd, 2026. Live here in the newsroom, Mark Cotter-Robles, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Mark and Michelle, back to you.
Hey, so I'll talk about this. See if you can find, it's another video out. Okay. Of her snapping on her on one of her aides.
Oh, that was the next Google result, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Well, there's one that says, "Get out of my effing shot."
Yes,
Is that,
that's it.
Yeah, that's the one.
It.
Okay,
yes.
All right. Yeah, I got that.
Okay, yeah, because we need to put these two together. I need people to have a full picture of how bat crazy this woman is.
All right.
Yeah, this woman. Yeah.
If this is,
I can't believe. Yeah, this. I mean, she should change her name. If there was such thing as Karen, that she's Karen. I'm for real. She is the prototypical far left progressive, detached from reality Karen. That's what she is. And they're about to make this woman governor of California.
Which is wild. Like, why would you do that? So here's this.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't make a commitment to education, Paris climate accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot. It wasn't just a coincidence that there's a gas station right where you're about to run out of gas.
Oh, that's not.
Did they cut it off?
They did. So it's before that. She snaps.
Are they gonna show? Are they?
So you don't
I
think
feel like this
okay,
is.
so they put some of her other crazy.
Okay, they put the two together. Okay.
Yeah.
No. Try to see if you can find. Get out of my shot. You can just you can put her name and get out of my shot. Yeah. That it. We'll just try to find the actual.
Let me see. That one's 10 minutes. This one's 3. All right, New York Post definitely gonna show it.
Out of my fucking shot.
A newly resurfaced video has emerged of California Democratic gubernatorial candidate Katie Porter losing it, this time by ruthlessly yelling at a staffer who was seen walking into her shot on a video call.
To air pollution and other problems, and the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually.
You also were in my shot before that. Stay out of my shot. Okay, I'm going to start again with electric vehicles saving us money.
The shocking clip, first obtained by Politico, shows the former Congresswoman seamlessly switching from a professional tone during her discussion with then Secretary of Energy Jennifer Granholm to angry and abusive treatment of a staffer who innocently popped into the frame. This new, nasty behavior comes just a day after a shocking exchange between Porter and a reporter from CBS News Sacramento went viral.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, ma'am?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. So you don't
I
think
feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
Well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
This lady is crazy.
You're not going to
This lady
interview with her.
is
Nope, not
crazy.
like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
The bizarre encounter which aired...
That's wild, dude. I mean...
So that professional persona she's doing, that's fake. When she snapped on that girl, that's who she is.
Yeah.
When she broke character
Yeah.
to go who she really is. And then she's going, okay, I'm going to start over. I'm going to start back at that. And then that's the character. Right? You see what Matt put about Katie?
He said Katie's are evil.
Yeah.
His wife is named Katie, y'all.
But if I had a poster child for crazy left-wing progressive, it's this lady. Like, that lady is unhinged.
Yeah.
She really is. She's putting on this front to be professional and like for the camera and stuff. No, that lady is bat crazy. And there's no way that she should be governor of California. And I'm be honest, I heard that because, Kamala Harris had such a high turnover on her staff.
Mm-hmm.
They said behind the scenes, she was very much like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They said that basically if she was unhappy about something, she would basically turn into a prosecutor against you in the middle of a meeting. And she just start grilling you, basically trying to tear you down, ask you questions that just make you look like an idiot in front of everybody else. That was the way that she operated. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know people who worked in the White House during the Clinton administration. And they said that Hillary was the exact same way.
Yep.
Like everybody hated her.
Yeah.
Like she would act just like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this lady that if California voters see this and still go out and vote for that, they get what they deserve.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you can't trust anything. Everything she tells you is fake. Her whole persona that she's gonna do from here on out is fake.
Yeah.
No, she's the head of the HOA. She's HOA lady. That's who she is.
Hey, no shade to my HOA. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for the most part. But
just stereotypical. The stereotypical negative the negative HOA experience. That is her.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Right. No, it's the HOA Karen who shows up at your house ringing on your doorbell because you got 2 pieces of gravel in next to your driveway, and that's against HOA code. It's that. Yeah. It's that lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the lady that's like, hey, I know you got an animal you're not allowed to have in here, and she's trying to come in your house. It's that one.
And like I say, and she's Karen. She's the white lady at the park calling the police on the black people who are grilling in the park because they're not on the barbecue. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah,
that's her.
That's so I will say that if she winds up becoming governor, which I don't think she's going to now, I think that her tirade there getting put out because it's very interesting, right? So you see the difference in like how much the New York Post showed versus how much CNN showed, right?
Yes.
You see that, right?
mean, how do you not show the cursing?
Right.
That's the whole. That's the clip.
They run
spazzing
cover,
out.
so they can say they covered it, right? Like they can say, oh yeah, we ran the story. What do you mean we did cover? It's like, no, you didn't show people. You didn't show people the worst part.
All she showed was her saying, "Get out of my shot."
No. You didn't show the bleep, 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 get out of my bleep. You didn't show that part.
Yeah.
Because you run cover. Cover.
Yep.
You run defense. You run a defense, man. You run an interference. And so, yeah, I'm like, dude, listen, if she winds up becoming governor, I think that I need to make a bumper sticker that says last one out of California, turn out the lights. That's what I need to do.
Oh man. That I can imagine her. I feel bad for her staffer working
absolutely.
for her. Cause that woman's insufferable.
Yeah.
And the staffer was just trying to correct her because she said something wrong.
Right.
And the staff, yeah.
Oh
my goodness.
Yeah. I can't imagine. I can't imagine that. Tammy, you know what? What I said that, it was actually inspired by the Michigan sticker because I've seen it before. I've seen that bumper sticker down here in the South. I saw that. The last one out of Michigan, turn out the lights. And I was like, dude, I'm going to make the California one.
Wow. Gretchen Whitmer.
Yup. Listen, I'm gonna need Krista to run. I need Krista to run for governor of California. Okay, I need Krista to run. You got to do something out there, Krista. You got to do something. You got to run for governor.
There we go.
We need Krista. We need Mo. Mo, run for governor. Run for governor, Mo. One of y'all get this thing done. Seriously. One of y'all run for governor and appoint the other one as lieutenant governor. Okay, like let's go. Let's get this done.
Yep.
Both of y'all, if y'all can't win against that lady, y'all are both way more likable than that lady. If y'all can't win against that lady, I mean, California's just lost. If you lose that, y'all just go ahead and move out here. Y'all move out here. We got grits. We got grits and they don't have sugar in them. Okay.
There is one guy that I wanted to have on. So he's been working to get rid of the trying to clean up the rolls in California. Because Krista was talking about basically voter fraud and the Dems keep winning. But put it like this, Krista's argument has been that California is really purple.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all the illegal if they require a voter ID, then it would really balance out the elections. California isn't as blue as people think. It's just that the Dems keep rigging the elections with these, I forgot what they're called. It's some type of voters who are on the rolls. And so this guy named Shallow Marks, and he's on X, and he's been going through cleaning up those rolls and getting those people taken off. If that continues to happen, you might see a much closer race between Dems and Republicans coming out of California. Because if you really look at California, the margin of victory is almost the exact same every time. And that margin of victory is pretty close to the same number of suspicious, I forgot what they're called, the type of people that are on the rolls.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's a clean sweep in the state of California. It's like Gavin Newsom would win by 2 million votes, but every single time it's the same margin.
Yeah.
But in a state that large, that's not that big of a deal. But when you look at the rolls, look at how many illegal aliens are in the state of California, you can really see if they clean those rolls up, that 2 million goes away real quick.
Yeah.
Right. And so they're working on cleaning up those rolls. And so that when the next election comes around, like I say, don't be surprised if California isn't more purple than we believe it is.
I remember, Krista tore off in our behinds about that on the one show. And I now that I've heard all this, I think that she's right. And just think about what that reporter was saying, that 40% of California went for Trump. 40%.
Yeah.
California. If 40% of California went for Trump, and they clean up the rolls, that gap closes.
It does.
Man, I'm just saying that it tells me that there's hope out there. There's hope out there.
Inactive, ineligible voters. So Cal said, okay. California, this was 12 hours ago. He said California removed 600,000 inactive, ineligible voters this year, plus the 3.1 million ineligible voters purged. So yeah, they've gotten rid of 3.7 million ineligible voters off their rolls.
My goodness.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this next election.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. We got to have this dude on.
Oh, man, definitely. Absolutely. Man. Yeah. Katie might have a little bit of problem. She might have a little problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she might want to answer that question about how she's going to reach that 40%.
It's about time for a little mea culpa. A little mea culpa action. I'm so sorry. I didn't eat anything. I hadn't slept the night before. I was irritated. You know, it's about time for that, because them voter rolls ain't gonna help you out this time. Sounds like.
Yeah. Future said inactive and ineligible sounds like a football player. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
That's like seeing some stats for some football player throwing for a certain amount of yards, and that dude stayed on the bench the whole time. It's like, wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
Yeah. All right, man. It's been a time. It's been a time. You got any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
Nah, man. I think I've said all my piece. I gave all my rants. I smiled all my smiles. Happy shutdown, everybody. Happy shutdown.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's get out of here, y'all. We thank y'all. We got the best chat in all of these YouTube streets. We really do. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all for checking us out. If you're new here, we are glad you're here. Like, subscribe, share with a friend. Support Devin over at Podium Studios, especially when he turns down my my quality, so I'm not pixelated. But yeah, let's stay informed, y'all.
Stay informed, folks. Have a good one. Thanks for being here.